Here we are. I've just had that horrible feeling, like when you feel a burp coming on. I thought, oh no, not the minute that we go live. That'd be just my luck, wouldn't it? Belch down the microphone as we start.
Me, I'm burping like mad. Honestly, I've had curry and I'm washing it down with BM, so it's not really a good combination.
I was going to
Yeah,
say that combination.
Yeah, I had a Domino's pizza not that long back either. So, yeah. Right, okay. So, anyone watching? Obviously, we've been doing these Alien Earth streams, and obviously, this one is episode 5 and 6. I'm joined by Paul Retrobait and Scott Sega Zombie. Their channels are linked below, so make sure you check them out if you're not aware of them
I wouldn't
already.
bother checking mine out. There's not much going on there. Save yourself some time. Go watch one of these two guys.
I should probably add right at the start that there will be spoilers. So if you've not watched it, then go and watch that first, because you kind of can't talk about it without spoiling it. And there's a lot to talk about, and not necessarily, at least for me, in a good way. I think Martin said last time when we did the last stream, I wonder if there's going to come a time where Disney messes it up. And in my opinion, I think they did at this point. But as a generalization, before we get into the nitty gritty, what did you think of these episodes, Paul?
I enjoyed number 5.
Right.
We got to see like how each of the species works and how the Scott.
Yeah,
like what dangers they're going to be, how they get ingested by humans, stuff like that. Episode 6, for me, I think they must have used quite a bit of money on episode 5, so it felt like it was a little bit like almost like a filler, but it tied a lot of like loose ends story wise. Like it did move on story wise, but I think like visually it wasn't as as good as 5. But yeah, I enjoyed 5, and I thought 6 was a bit meh. It was all right. It tied a few ends up and advanced the story where it needed to, answered a few questions, posed a few more questions. But that was that's how I felt these two went. Hi, Martin.
Yeah. Chef's here, or Chef left a comment, but he left out 5:35, so he's probably not here. Scott, how did you find these episodes?
Can I just say that my laptop went off. I come back on, and now I'm back at Tuesday, the 16th of September, and it's 4 minutes past 8. Because before we went live, my whole laptop was messed up. Well, I'm
you were stuck in 1946, weren't you?
Yeah, something like that.
I'm guessing maybe it was trying to do an update or something.
I think
and that's
so.
What
it did just say something about an update, and I've ignored it.
Yeah, that's probably why.
The episodes, I actually really enjoyed number 5. For what it was, a bit of action. I'm glad that we got to find out what happened and how it all come to the ship. I'm sorry, I can't remember the name of that ship.
The Maginot.
The Maginot, that's it. The Maginot, how that all ended up. The 6th episode I felt was a bit filler in places and predictable.
Yeah.
Didn't dislike it, but just I think with only 2 episodes to go, my God, they've got a lot to cover.
Yeah.
That's where I'm at with them, I think.
So for me, I'm probably coming at this from a completely different angle to you guys, because after watching episode 5, because I watched these twice so that I can make notes for the stream, and I'll be honest, the second time was a slog for me. I did not enjoy this episode. In some ways, I kind of wish we didn't get this story. I kind of wish that we just had the flashbacks, because there's some terrible writing and some really dumb decisions that are made throughout this entire episode. These are the most incompetent people in space. They are. I wouldn't trust them to butter a piece of bread. Like, honestly, let alone give them a really expensive spaceship. No. And then when we got to 6, I actually kind of preferred the fact that it was a bit slower and a bit fillery, because it then meant I didn't have to write as many notes and I didn't have to complain in my notes as much. I kind of appreciate it for that because, like, seriously, episode 5, there's so many problems with it, so many problems, but we'll get into it anyway. So episode 5 was titled "In Space, No One ... So I'm trying to be clever with the old Aliens tagline. And before we get any further, I've got my Aliens t-shirt on. Got to get into the mood of it.
I've got an Aliens. Hold on.
And oh yeah, that's cool, isn't it?
I've got me
they're
Alien
awesome,
eggs.
them.
Look.
Yeah, I've seen them actually somewhere before. Yeah,
They're very cool. Very cool.
So as the episode starts, obviously we get a line of text come up that says 17 days from Earth. So we know exactly where we're at this point. I can't help but think them 17 days went really quickly when you look at what went on in that time. Did you feel that?
Hold on. What? So that whole episode covered 17 days?
Well, that's what you meant to think, yeah. Yeah, it didn't feel like it, did it?
No.
No,
No.
not
It
at all.
means
I thought that was like over the space, like maybe 24 hours or something.
That's what I thought, yeah.
Yeah.
it means that they obviously was really dragging their feet more than you realise watching the episode. It means that they were not just incompetent, they were really, really, really incompetent. So, because if you couldn't do all them things in 17 days, then you're not very good at your job, are you? I don't think. So,
Yeah, but do you reckon the events that took place were like over a day, and then the other 16 days was the cyborg in the hatching?
I don't know.
There's
I mean,
no way. There's no reference between that whole episode
Yeah, there's no
that
time.
they
Yeah.
spent any amount of days. It all seemed to happen, even
Well,
if you said 48 hours.
Seeing that when, like, as we'll probably come on to a bit later, you know, when he's decoding
Yeah.
some of the files so they can watch back
Yeah,
people's,
true.
like,
yeah,
that did take a long time to do. So I suppose that gives you an idea of the timeline. But
and
yeah,
the
up until you said that,
interrogations,
I never even thought about it.
and the interrogations as well probably would have took a bit of time, but
Yeah.
So we after the line of text, we get right into it, and it's Morrow getting woke up, right? And there's alarms going off. And do you know what? When it started and that was happening, I thought, oh, good start to the episode. And then immediately it was ruined by that idiot that's with him, his lackey, the one they call Chlamydia. He starts just rabbiting on a load of nonsense. And at that point, I'm sitting there, I'm like, who's wrote this script? Like, he just goes on a complete verbal diarrhea tirade about a load of nonsense, doesn't he? You hear him talking about how he's been watching the first officer shagging one of the other crew members, and it's like, mate, what are you going on about? Why is any of this relevant? Like, you know,
It's just a gobshite.
well,
Yeah.
I think with it, I think they've like how Lee, how you don't like how the simps with the kids in them,
yeah,
how you don't like that because it's over exaggerated.
yeah,
I do feel that every character's stereotype is overplayed.
yes,
Yeah, I think that's why. Yeah,
it's quite clear that whoever wrote it has got no idea how real people actually communicate with each other, because like people aren't like that. You know, you wouldn't have someone that just is talking complete nonsense for 5 minutes straight without taking a breath. Like, you know, just and there's a few like incidents of that throughout this series. It's not just limited to that. I've noticed it in a few places, and I couldn't help at times sitting there thinking, real people don't talk like that because they don't. So, but yeah, so I noted that stupid conversation. But then the next bit, and this is another thing that kind of took me out of the scene. He walks into the med bay, and you get, Mr. Morrow, you're in your underwear. So I put in brackets under my notes. That's what you're worried about. Like, you know, you've got two crew members that have got face huggers on their face. One of them's dead. because they've tried to remove it and acid's got on him, and you're worried about the fact that your head of security is in his underwear, which is something you would have already seen him in when you got in the cryopods.
I think the reference to that was when Sigourney Weaver wakes up and she's in her underwear.
Maybe. I just don't get why you'd be worried about that at that point.
Yeah, no, I
Because
get what
you
mean.
wouldn't be paying any attention to that. You'd be thinking,
Unless,
oh shit,
of
something's
course,
gone horribly wrong.
maybe they're trying to paint the picture that these people really are completely incompetent. Like,
Well, they're doing a good job of that.
exactly. It's like, rather than saying, "Right, mate, the shit's hit the fan. This is what's happened. We need to sort it out like right now." Maybe
At the end of the
to
day,
try and
knowing that,
emphasize how useless these people are.
they were on a 65-year mission, right? You've got to be a bit of a. It don't matter how much money you're going to get paid. You've got to be a bit of a Neanderthal to fucking accept that contract and to go and waste your life. All your loved ones at home, your whole life at home. These people clearly didn't have one because I think they're trying to portray them as over stereotyped idiots. Basically.
Yeah. I mean, like what Martin's put here, maybe Wayland's Yutani only hide mentally challenged, part of their DEI program. You'd think that, wouldn't you? Yeah. You really would think that.
It's almost like they've just employed the worst possible people because the crew is completely expendable.
Yeah.
Which they are.
And the only one, and it emphasizes as well that the only one that's good at his job, dedicated to the mission, is the cyborg.
The only one who survives.
And he's the only one that survives because he's the only one that's got any fucking common sense, has a plan, and has any coherent, of his surroundings and what's actually going on.
See, the thing is, right? I mean, the idea that they've picked stupid people in order to get the specimens back, right? It don't quite wash with me because you only got to look at Alien to see that they don't need to do that. Like in Alien, they're not stupid people, but obviously they know they've got to follow company orders. So you don't need to have idiots in order to achieve this. And in fact, I think this episode
they were a different form. They were just going to a distress signal, weren't they?
They were just miners.
Yeah, they were miners, but I mean, look at it here, right? Group of miners were smarter than a research vessel full of scientists.
Bear in mind that these are not the people who actually got the specimens, though, remember?
Were they not? I thought they said that they lost team members getting the specimens.
I thought they said that they lost like a lot of people getting these specimens. I thought the people who got the specimens were.
Yeah, see, that could be that what was left of that initial team is a motley crew of the not so good.
These ones were kept in cryo just in case, like I don't know.
You could say that, but I mean, don't forget one of these is the XO, and she's a complete idiot. So, she is an idiot.
She is like when he was like, "I'll have to take command," I was like, "Oh, please do."
Perhaps that episode's paying tribute to Covenant because they're all fucking idiots in that as well.
Yeah.
Guys, I'm just going to see if I can find my glasses because like my eyes are hurting. I'll be 2 seconds.
All right. So, of course, the other thing that we learn while they're talking about what's happened to the 2 crew members, one of them being the captain who's dead, we then find out that that basically 2 eggs hatched, which is obvious to us, it is anyway. That someone had obviously opened it, or somehow it ended up open, and there was a fire. And later on, obviously, we see the footage and find out how they ended up in there, obviously, to get infected in the first place. But yeah, I don't know about you, but I thought straight away, well, it's quite obvious there's a saboteur on board. Didn't you think that?
Oh, yeah. I thought all along that it was going to be a saboteur. I was kind of hoping for a bit more depth in that.
Yeah.
And how that episode pans out, I was a little bit like, oh, they've taken the easy route.
Yeah.
Because I was kind of hoping that there was more kind of moles within Boy Cavalier's lot. Which
Yeah.
still could be the case. I'm still not ruling that out.
Well, there's a couple of things I noticed about the whole like saboteur like thing, but I mean, obviously, when we get to it, I'll address it then.
yeah.
But there was a few bits that I thought were a bit hinky about the whole thing. But yeah. So then I noted down one lad is called Chlamydia because obviously he refers
His
to him as that.
nickname. Yeah.
You know, and I thought at that time, like, well, hang on, to get called Chlamydia, wouldn't you actually have to be a bit of a male slag? And I didn't see any indication of that with him at all. Like,
we had a lad in the army called Chlamydia, and it's because you're an irritating.
Yep.
right, okay,
Yeah.
right, okay.
Yeah.
That's what it refers to.
See,
And that's why he's called Chlamydia.
I would have called him Thrush if you meant that. That makes more sense, right? I mean, because Chlamydia, I would have thought would be more of a name you'd use to describe a male slag, right? Like, that's what I'd think, anyway.
I used to like one of the guys was called Drill Bit because he was a boring tool. I just thought it was brilliant.
Someone really thought of them nicknames, didn't they? But good, very good. Right, so obviously after he calls him Chlamydia, you then get Morrow telling the crew members to get the zoo locked down, and the first officer agrees. Quite clearly, right from this point, you know that Morrow knows what he's doing. Although, don't get me wrong, he does make some questionable decisions later on himself, but he's clearly the more sensible one on the crew, without a doubt.
Totally.
Still like one of my favourite characters, really, to be honest. Yeah. So then I've got this bit here. As he walks out in the corridor, obviously the engineer makes a comment to him, doesn't he? And he says to him about you should put him in the airlock and just be done with it. And then he mentions that the first officer hadn't told him about the fire, which had fried their navigational systems and engine relays. And then he mentions, and this was the part I liked because I think I mentioned this in our first stream. He says, we was a spaceship, now we're a missile.
Yeah.
I said that in our first stream, didn't I? When I said about how fast the bloody thing would have been going.
Well, yeah.
So,
yeah.
Oh, hello. Chef's in the chat. Hope you're good.
Hey,
gents.
up, chef.
Yeah, we're good.
How's is all the fingering going well?
Watching from the kitchen. Yeah, them baked beans must be hard work, man. Who's that guy to the right
That
of my
microwave
screen?
must be pinging every 3 minutes.
Look at this. Who's that guy to the right of my screen? Now, really, chef? Like, this is our third stream and you ain't been on any of them. What's that I'm saying?
Yeah, it's supposed to be on it from the start. What
People in glass houses shouldn't throw stones, isn't it? Isn't that the saying?
Oh, he's getting a good
Definitely
fingering.
good one.
That's good.
I want to know if Chef is doing vol au vents.
Yeah.
With prawns in.
Yeah.
Right, so the next bit I noted down because I'll be honest, there's so many things that happen in this episode. I was just continuously having to pause and note things down. So this part where we get told in the lab that it's safe because if containment was broken, the lights would be red instead of green, right? And then I put clearly foreshadowing, which obviously it was, you know.
That was, wasn't it?
It's like, why would you be telling a crew member that? They would already know that. Like, you know.
Don't you feel, though, that sometimes scripts and how things are written, especially on television,
over-explained, right?
They over-explain because they feel like their audience are
idiots.
Yeah. Idiot. I do think that, you know.
There's an old saying, right? That with good scripts, it's always show, don't tell.
Yes. Yeah.
What would have made more sense is if she put one of them things in, which we do actually see her doing.
Yeah.
She'd have just put one of them in, pushed the button, and it went green. We would have then got what was going on there, wouldn't we? Yeah. We don't need them to tell us.
If you were working in that environment with alien species that you knew were incredibly dangerous, you would definitely check that was closed, that was on green, right? Like, there's no way you'd be like, it'll be read. Do you know what I memean? Oh yeah, we've got to go and do something else. Aye, I'll just chuck that up there.
Hang on, I'll like, that fault because we're not at that bit yet.
I know, but
because this bit is before something else happens, and then it goes back to them, and that bit happens that you're talking about there. Hang on, Jesus. Like, has Chef got like diarrhea? Like when he's
Poirot.
like
Who's he
messaging
talking
there?
about? Me or you?
I've got no idea. Lee looks like Pyro with his glasses on.
If I knew where my glasses were, I'd put mine on as well, just to
Just going to add, better than looking like a white-hatted ponce. Yeah.
That's the thing about when you lose glasses, you just can't find them, can you? You need them.
I have
Look,
no
to see.
idea where
Murder, She
mine are.
Wrote.
Don't top of your head.
Oh, I've seen
Right.
them.
I love saying that to my mum, and my mum's always like, "What?"
I'm going to ignore him now because otherwise I'm not going to get anything done on this stream because it's like bang, bang, bang. Like, right, I'm ignoring him now. Right.
He's sabotaging it. That's what he's doing, mate. He's trying to prolong us so we're on here all night.
Yeah, you go back to your baked beans, mate, and we'll carry on. So yeah, then I put incompetence or sabotage, because that's what gets said, isn't it? And in the next scene, and you were screwing Bronxy. Is that his name? Bronsky, wasn't it? Bronsky. That was his
Bronsky,
name.
wasn't it?
Yeah. And I put in brackets very professional crew, because everybody knows. I would have thought, like, if you'd know this, Paul, being in the military, you don't fraternize, you don't do that. I just thought, well, okay, or
You're
maybe
asking
you
the
do.
wrong person, are you?
Well, yeah, that's true. Yeah, I forgot it's you we're talking about here, isn't it?
Mate, my eyes lit up when I found out I was getting attached to the medics. I was like, "Oh man." Anyway,
moving on.
Yep. That's the after stream.
And obviously, then we get the part where Moro threatens to take control, as he's in charge of making sure the specimens get back to the company, whether or not the crew survives. He makes it quite clear right there that his job is to get the specimens back, whether the crew make it or not. So really, she shouldn't really be that surprised what happens at the end of that episode. Really, I don't think he's kind of told her here, hasn't he? So and then we get Bronsky getting frozen, and then of course we get the stupid convo about the 5 companies, and then Tang gets told to stop staring at the girl again. Like, that character's proper creepy, ain't he? Like that Tang
it's
is
just
weird.
shame.
Definitely an android.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but what, he's sitting there smoking fags.
Well, yeah, that's the thing that's thrown me a bit, because you got at one point you see him smoking, right? And then obviously later on in the episode, I don't want to give away what happens until we get to it, but obviously he screams later on.
Yeah.
And I was quite surprised by that, because I thought, like,
which
do
makes me
scream?
think
Right.
he's not an android.
Well, according to when you look it
it's
up
weird,
on
isn't it?
Google, it says he is. So I don't know.
Very peculiar. And why
Yeah.
would an android stand there perving over a woman?
I don't know. It's very weird, isn't it?
Because it
Even
was
like-
even more. It was even more pervy, that scene.
Yeah, and
Then
even
we
the
make
way he
sure
talks, and then the way he walks off afterwards,
Yeah,
like,
it's very
all
weird.
very odd. Yeah.
That is a weird one.
But we'll never find out the answer to that because, well, he's gone now.
Well, it
so
doesn't feel like
really
it, does it? Yeah, it's just gonna be one of those, isn't it?
But yeah, the conversation when they freeze Bronsky as well, like, when he's talking about how, companies taking over and, they don't care about them and how they just want to get ahead of the other companies, so they'll bring stupid, dangerous things back to Earth. And with that conversation, I just thought, once again, it's like, we know this. Why are you telling us this? We don't need you to tell us this. We all know, I mean, to be honest with you, we know from real life that big tech are not exactly there to do you any favors. So we don't even need them to really say it in this, whether you've watched Alien or not. So yeah, it was another one of them instances where I just thought, like, you didn't need to tell us that. We all have worked this out. Easily worked it out by episode 5, even if you hadn't seen Alien, I think, So yeah, then we move on to Moro investigating the scene of the crime. Again, one of the only sensible things that's happening in this, because it's Moro again. He's the only sensible person. He starts looking over the CCTV, right? But before he gets there, obviously he's looking around in the actual area where it happened, isn't he? And he notices acid on the floor. And then there was one stupid thing he does here, right, which was really questionable. He drops a lit cigar down the hole in the floor. And I thought, pretty certain that's a pretty dumb thing to do when you're on a spaceship. Like a lit
I'm amazed at the smoke,
cigar.
to be honest. Like, I just think it's like I know they did in the original,
That's
like,
why, isn't it?
so yeah. But
That's
yeah, it's
why.
just it just seems a bit weird that they do.
But I just thought,
But
like,
yeah.
what, like you just had a fire in that room, and then you drop a lit cigar down a hole in the floor. Have you learnt nothing? Like that you know, that was the first time I've seen Moro do something stupid, and I was quite surprised by it. You know, so
Because in the
yeah.
other Aliens films, they spit, don't they?
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
in Aliens they do.
Because it's just showing you the depth, isn't it? So yeah, that would have made more sense if he spat down there rather than, like what you said, chuck a cigar down there.
Well, I mean, this is the thing. You don't actually get told what caused that hole, but I'm assuming that they tried to remove the facehugger at the scene.
They must have done. That's what I
Yeah.
thought. Perhaps they tried to remove it
Yeah, and it burnt through
rather
the
than in the
deck
med bay, which doesn't make any sense. But
yeah, it doesn't. It doesn't make sense. And again, another questionable decision, isn't it? Wouldn't you wait until you get him in the mid bay? Yeah. Find out what you're dealing with before you start trying to remove it. Like, you know? Yeah. Well, there you go. Another one. Another stupid idea to the long list of stupid ideas in this. But yeah, then we got Moro. This is when he goes and checks the CCTV. Now, this is what I would have done. Like, I mean, as you guys know, I do security. The first thing I would have done was check the cameras.
well, yeah,
You know, they're there. You know, I probably would have done that before I even looked over the room, if I'm honest, because you can then look over the room to confirm what you've just seen on the footage, right? So, and yeah, obviously he sees the events unfold, and we see our saboteur, but obviously you can't tell who it is. So, and then I put here, Moro commits voyeurism. Because he does, doesn't he? He watches the XO
Oh yeah, that's right.
bouncing up and down on the on Bronski. So
on the captain.
yeah, well, it's not the captain, is it? It's another.
I
yeah,
thought
it's
he was
another...
the captain. That one.
No, he's the other guy that's got the face hugger in him.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and I just thought like, yeah, that's a bit pervy, isn't it? So you're saying stuff about Tang staring at that woman, and there's you watching CCTV of your first officer jumping up and down on a member of the crew. Like, I just thought, like, you're in no place to really say anything.
Perks of the job, I suppose. Isn't
Give
it?
him
Come
some
on, Lee.
slack. They've been in
Perks
space
of the job.
for 65 years.
Guy needs to bust a nut. You know what I mean?
He's got to use that cyborg arm.
Surely in the alien universe they got porn, right? They don't need to do that. Surely, you know, they must have that. Surely. And then this part.
You think they would have a sex bot? Actually, do you know, with all these bloody androids and robots roaming around, surely they've got a sex bot.
Well,
You know
I don't know.
Let's
Would
get the
you
sex
trust
bot
one
out.
though? Would you trust one when you got one on there that's creepy and staring at people? I wouldn't. Like, it'd probably kill you. Like,
have you seen what the dating pool's like these days?
Yeah, it's probably not
it's
much
probably no
better,
worse than what's running around out there.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Yeah. Yeah, and then we get to, and I'm going to say my favourite scene, and it's because it's this character is so pointless, annoying, thick. I actually have labelled him. I ain't even bothered to find out his name. I've just labelled him Moron Engineer. That's what I've named him. And we're on about the apprentice kid because he's an absolute idiot bellend. Like,
it's a shame he's English, isn't it? It really
yeah, it don't
is.
do us any favours, does it? Like,
No.
it really don't. So when he's talking about, I thought this was all meant to be about rocks, and he went, no. He's like, that's a geological survey, and we're on a biological survey. And I just thought, how thick are you that you don't know that biological is not rocks? Like,
but then again, I think this cements what I said at the start, is in that they have just got the incompetence, the absolute dregs to go out there and do that mission. And I think that states it, because again, you've got an engineer that's very old. He's done many missions. and then he's got an apprentice who's a bit of a twat because that's all they could get to do the mission.
He's a moron. He's an absolute moron. But I get what you're saying. But again, I go back to Alien, right? You know, you don't have to have stupid people to achieve this mission. These people know they've got to kind of follow orders, otherwise they don't get paid, right? You can just threaten them with that, which of course they do really in Alien, right? So you don't have to use idiots to get this achieved.
I just think there's a massive significance there in that they were incompetent, whereas in Alien they were competent. And I think that might be the change in what they thought is instead of doing another mission like that, they then make another vessel go and chase a distress signal because they knew, Wayland knew what was there. And they were set up to go there and get it because they'd already tried the approach of what they're doing now in Alien Earth to get those alien specimens, and it all went tits up.
I get what you're saying. I'll be honest, I think you're probably giving the writers too much credit. I'll be honest, because I think you thought about this probably more than they have. But because what you're saying does make sense to a point.
Yeah.
Right.
I just think he keeps, you know, I know what you're saying, Lee, is in that you think the script's poor and things like that. I get that. But I do think that he's overdoing the fact that they were incompetent crew.
Yeah, but there's only one thing I need to point out here, right? It's a science vessel. Like, you shouldn't have any idiots on a science vessel. You really shouldn't. It should be full of people who are really brainy, really clever, right? I mean, we don't have dumb-ass scientists, do we?
Yeah, like, but you can have really brainy, really clever people that have no common sense.
Yeah, but moron boy, he's got nothing. Anything at all, is he? I mean, that guy, I'd be surprised if he's got any brain cells at all. I mean,
but he might be really good with engines. He might be an absolute moron, but perhaps he's a whiz at engineering.
He's not, though, is he? We know that because we found that out watching this episode. So, yeah. I honestly do think he'd lose a battle of wits with a stuffed iguana, I'll be honest. You know, he's just an absolute moron. But then I put, why is he allowed on a spaceship? And then obviously then we get to Morrow walking in and he starts asking about blueprints, right? And he asks about the repairs. Again, sensible things that a head of security should be asking. In fact, actually, I was surprised that the first officer's not asking this. I mean, you would think that she would want to know that this is going ahead, right? Because she's first officer. Well, she's now acting captain, really, isn't she? So
yeah,
I'm surprised that she's not the one asking in questions, that it's Morrow. But anyway.
I think she's completely detached because of what's happened.
She's overwhelmed.
She's overwhelmed for one, and she's not qualified to be the captain. But also, she's preoccupied, and all she can care about is the fact that the man she was jumping up and down on has got a face hugger on him and is in cryo sleep. That's what I think.
I mean, look at it this way: it's Disney. It's a woman. And she's absolutely useless. Like, you know, she's not like running around, like, you know, doing everything single-handedly by herself.
That does make a change. Yeah,
it's amazing.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, no, that's right. I'll take that.
It's amazing. But the only problem I find with this is that to make it to first officer, I would have thought you'd have to have some sort of way of being able to deal with things, right?
I'm pretty sure Ripley was first officer, wasn't she? In Alien? Or was it no? She was flight officer.
Yeah, she was flight officer.
Yeah.
She was only first officer after Kane died, right?
That's
if I'm
right.
Yeah. What's this? Hey, fellas, flying visit. Just pop to say hello and give a thumbs up. Have fun. Yeah. Cheers, mate.
They all die. Everyone dies.
Has he actually got a way of watching this now? Because when I spoke to him last, he didn't have Disney Plus.
You're joking.
He's hoping that gets a Blu-ray release.
No, I wouldn't bank on it. I'd be surprised if it does. Disney, I mean, with the exception of Romulus, they released a little while back saying they weren't going to release anything on physical media. So moving forwards, so
they have said that a few times, but
we've
gone back on it. They keep releasing stuff.
So in the same conversation with Moro, we then have him mention about, obviously he talks about the saboteur, how he thinks we've got a saboteur. And then obviously tells them not to mention it, otherwise they will forfeit all shares. Which, of course, we've heard that term thrown around in the Alien universe before, haven't we? So, yeah. Which, again, like I say, he uses that as a threat, which is something that Weyland-Yutani can always use. Again, backing up my point that you don't need to use idiots. You just have to threaten not to pay them, right? So, yeah. So Moro then asks his little lackey, did you pull the communication logs? I tried, but someone's deleted the files. I'm running a recovery program now. Do you think that it'll tell us who's behind all this? And then Moro then says, well, innocent people don't destroy evidence.
True.
So, yeah, and I thought that conversation was actually quite good. Although, like, his lackey at the beginning was a bit of an idiot, it was quite a good conversation because that's the way you would have expected that type of conversation to have gone, right? And obviously sensible thinking as well, because straight away he says to him, did you check the communication logs? Because naturally that is something you should be looking at, isn't it? Next to the CCTV, that would probably be your next port of call, wouldn't it? To see if anyone's made a phone call, So, and yeah, and it actually showed a little bit of level of competence from Chlamydia, because you find out that he's already running a recovery program without being told to actually do it. So it's funny, isn't it? Because he's quite a young lad, but he's probably one of the more sensible ones on that crew, other than Moro. So, with the exception of the blabbering at the beginning when Moro wakes up. And then we've got the whole thing with First Officer logs the change of command. She goes into Mother, didn't she? Finally logs the change of command and explains the situation. And then, of course, we get the old sort of evil side of Weyland and the Mother saying, has it been contained? That's like literally the first thing it's asked, isn't it? Not are the crew okay or anything like that. Straight away, is it contained? And then the next point is she then says, like, can I have permission to destroy them if the cargo should become a threat to the crew? And then they send back specimens take priority, basically, don't they?
Yeah.
And she doesn't answer, and of course, then they threaten to. I think they threaten to forfeit all shares again with her, don't they? No, they make her acknowledge.
She has to acknowledge, otherwise they'll demote her and put.
That's it, and put Moro in charge. That's right. Yeah, that's what gets said, isn't it? Yeah, which again I thought made perfect sense because, well, again, Moro's more competent. I think they should have done that anyway, if I'm honest. So,
yeah.
With the numbskulls they had, they could have sent him on the mission on his own.
yeah.
Probably would have done a better job.
Yeah.
Now, this was a scene I liked. The part where you got Moro in his quarters and he's listening to We'll Meet Again. I don't know why that song, other than the fact that obviously he said to her that he'd see her when he got back. So I'm guessing that's what the reference is. And you see him looking at photos and letters from his daughter while remembering past events, because we see a few like sort of flashbacks, don't we?
Yeah.
And I've got to say, it does like, I think Martin said this on the last stream. He does like using these scenes where they sort of fade in and out of each other, doesn't he?
Yeah.
He does like using that. You see a lot of that in these episodes, don't you? And of course, then as he's looking through photos and stuff, he then shows what looks like a computer printout. It's obviously a message, and I think it says priority on it, if I remember right. And it says on there that his daughter died in a fire 8 years ago. She was 19 at the time. So he was eight. She died 8 years into his mission. That's what I should have said. And that she was 19 at the time. And then I don't even notice, it's very subtle, but did you notice at the bottom of the paper, you can see stains from teardrops where he's cried when he read it.
Yeah.
Did you notice that?
Yeah.
See, that's something that a lot of people would forget. And I quite liked that little touch that someone actually thought, hang on, I thought that was quite good. Like, and then of course, like not long after that, we get another explosion, didn't we? At this point, I've got to be honest. Why aren't people walking around the ship looking out for this stuff now? I know it's a big ship, which only leads to another problem, which I'll get to later on. I know it's a big ship, but I don't know. I just would have thought you would have had some sort of security system in place or someone monitoring something just to see if anything else happens. You
The
know,
one
you've got
thing
a
I weren't
saboteur.
sure of, Lee, and you might know, relating to this, is was everyone woke up in the end? Because they kind of implied that was a big crew on that ship.
Yeah.
And that they were taking in turns with their shifts, weren't they?
I know at first they're not, and then I know later on there's a part where they say that they're going to do that, but they don't get to it because they run into the saboteur, don't they? But we'll get to that. But yeah, I just thought it was interesting that, you know, another explosion's happened, another bit of sabotage has happened that easily with no one noticing. But then at the same time, we are dealing with idiots here. So I suppose it's no surprise, really. But this was the part I thought that was interesting about the whole thing. You find out that obviously the saboteurs took out the fuel reserves, which we knew anyway. We knew that from the first episode. And there's then a bit about the cryopods. It goes straight from them realizing there's been an explosion to quarantine breach. The cryopod's been breached, isn't it? And they get there, and obviously we know that the chest bursters burst out of him.
Yeah.
Now, for me, this is where things I think sort of took a really bad turn because there was a few things that go on from this that didn't make much sense to me. So they mentioned then about waking up the crew, right? And this was the part I thought, again, Moro says this, and I thought, yeah, I don't agree with that. That's a bit dumb. So Chlamydia says to him about, should we wake up the rest of the crew? And, you know, and then we could look for this thing. And he says, no, we're not going to wake them up because we then have 10 more people running around with feelings, looking for the xenomorph, while we've also got a saboteur who's running around. And I thought, well, yeah, even more reason to wake your crew up then because
yeah, that's what I
they
thought.
might actually find the xenomorph and the saboteur, like, you know. And then he put, it'll cause an headache. How does more people in a search cause you a headache? I'm confused. I don't get it. I then put in brackets, really dumb decision. I don't even know what I put there. What the hell does that say? Oh, that's it. Really dumb. It's because it's bloody spelt it wrong. Really dumb decision. You have manpower. Why wouldn't you use it? Like, why wouldn't you? Like, honestly, that makes no sense to me. You know, it's like if you was looking for, I don't know, one of your kids that's gone missing, and all your mates and family and everyone turns up, and you go, "Oh no, I can't have all these people searching because that'll just cause headaches." Like, you wouldn't do that, would you? Just makes no sense.
Unless he'd already made his decision at that moment in what was going to go on.
Well, maybe
because they're going to die in their sleep with what he had planned.
Maybe because I can only assume that maybe that is the case because there's other things that happen later on which he does, or that all of them do, that's quite dumb. And I thought, yeah, maybe that is the intention.
Yeah.
But I did like the conversation when they're like, how big do these things get? You know? And I kind of wonder why they were asking Moro that, because I thought, well, surely he wouldn't know either, right? Like, if you scientists don't know how big this thing's likely to get, why are you asking the head of security? Like, you know? Unless there's some reason to think he knows something they don't. I don't know.
I think he's probably one of the survivors of the people that contained them, that got them.
Yeah, maybe.
I think that's what they're implying there. Because if you remember, he's the one that's most invested. He's already said that in previous episodes in why he's going to get them back.
Yeah.
And I think he's probably one of the original crew that went out to capture him and he knows more about them than what the others on the ship do.
See, again, though, I think they were all on the same crew. I think there was more of them because I don't know if you noticed. There's a few cryopods that are empty.
Yeah.
So
But I reckon
think...
they split up. Probably some stayed on the ship, and then others.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, of course. And obviously they died, and then the rest managed to get the rest onto the ship. Yeah.
That's what I think. Anyway, I think he was part of.
But again,
team got them.
But again, that wouldn't necessarily tell you how big these things get because we don't know that they didn't go to LV-426 where it's just eggs in a ship, do we?
Yeah, we don't know where he's. All we know is they've been to a moon.
Yeah. So, I mean, this is the thing. He might not have seen a xenomorph before. He might have just seen the eggs. We don't know
that
he's actually run into one of these before. So, yeah, I don't know. It was just, I don't know. I just found it all very weird, to be honest, the conversation. But, and then
it does feel like a lot of like holes, doesn't it, in the story? Like it doesn't. It just seems to, I don't know, like drop itself in it sometimes. Like by going over things that it doesn't really need to, it just creates more problems for itself.
And that's the problem, right? I mean, it goes back to what I was saying about show don't tell, because whenever you tell, you do put yourself in them positions. Yeah. So, I mean, like I say, you got a ship full of scientists, and you're asking the security guy, why wouldn't you ask your scientist? Like, surely they'd have more of an idea, you know? But
have we got to the scene yet in the lab?
No,
not yet.
Fucking
we're nearly there. So just before we get to the scene of the lab, Morrow obviously tells the acting captain, because he gives them weapons and basically says about using a taser because they've got to capture it, not kill it. So he's obviously explained to her, use this gun, don't shoot the damn thing, So, and then this is the part where we go back to the lab. Now, first thing I noted on the lab bit, right? What type of scientist eats and drinks while dealing with a deadly species? Like, honestly, like, I don't understand. Like,
I've been waiting to say that bit.
It's true, though, isn't it? Like, I mean, you just don't.
Unbelievable. That's the one thing out of that whole episode where I thought, hold on a minute. If you're a fucking scientist and you've got all of these alien species, you wouldn't sit there eating a sandwich.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Or drinking a drink.
Yeah. You wouldn't know what the hell.
I mean, for me, the drink was worse because if you spill water on something and it breaks containment.
Well, yeah.
I think the water was probably worse.
I thought that, I know we've talked about it and saying how incompetent they are, but that was the one thing where I just thought, what the hell?
Yeah.
She's sitting there eating a sandwich and drinking water while feeding these creatures and conducting her research or whatever.
I had a feeling
that's good.
Always going to get it.
I think that's awesome.
Does your one have the see-through bit down the side that shows you what's inside?
Yeah, be careful drinking that.
Yeah.
I know. I have to make sure there's no tadpoles in there.
So the other thing I noticed, right? I mean, other than the fact, obviously, like I said, I think the water was probably the more serious infringement because you get it out on electrical and you break containment. I mean, it's just really dumb, right? But the other part is that she doesn't put that proper lock on the top of that jar, and we've seen her do that a couple of times. She does it in the first episode as well. And it's like, that these things are dangerous and you're not putting the proper lid on. You're just turning the iris on the top of it. And, of course, it comes back to bite her in the arse because one of the ticks opens it, doesn't it?
Mm.
And gets
I
out.
thought that was clever because that again shows that they've got intelligence.
Yeah. Clearly they've watched and they've seen how she opens it.
Mm.
They definitely underestimate. They definitely underestimate.
Yeah, they just think because they look like a bug or whatever. They just think that they're just bugs.
Yeah,
they don't see them that they're an intelligent life form.
Well, you can tell that they see them that way because obviously at this point the Oculus then tries to tell her.
Yeah,
which I found interesting. So I was like, why is it telling her? I don't.
Yeah, but that's now twice that Oculus has been shown trying to help.
But the only reason I think that might be the case, right, is maybe because it thought that them things might be a threat to itself. Because obviously,
Possibly,
if it
yeah.
killed everyone in the lab and then managed to kill everyone on the ship, well, at that point, Oculus is at risk. And not only that, they could probably feed off the Oculus as well, right?
Yeah, and I'm also thinking a parasite doesn't want to kill its host.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also
Agreed.
there's also the fact that these things can obviously give off offspring very quickly.
Yeah,
So I'm guessing the Oculus has probably thought, hang on a minute, if this thing's out, I could be at threat here because
yeah,
there's going to be millions of these bloody things all over the ship. Like,
yeah.
you know, that's the only thing I can think of. It must be at that point self-preservation because it's warning her. And, you know, again, dumb fucking moment where she enough out of you, picks it up, puts it back, and this. There's no excuse for this. What happens next? There's just no excuse. Especially when you've already explained in the episode that when the light goes green, it's contained. Why would you not make sure you're looking at that when you lock it? And quite frankly, I thought this whole bit was silly. I mean, don't get me wrong, someone walking in a room could make you jump, right? And you maybe pushed the thing but didn't do it properly, right?
They could have done that scene so much better.
Yeah. My
They
point
just
is, even if someone made you jump, because of the nature of what's in that jar, you double check, right? Surely you double check.
Yeah, but she ate a sandwich and drank a drink.
Well,
She's just completely
Yeah,
incompetent.
it's just not great, is she?
No.
but I thought it was funny where, and I'll be honest, right? When she's putting it back, obviously this thing lays all its spawn in her water, doesn't it? And I thought,
Yeah.
please drink that water. Please drink it.
Yeah.
I actually wanted this dumbass
know.
to die at this point.
I actually really love the tension of that, though.
Yeah.
That's in that water, and you're like, oh my god, who's going to drink it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that.
But
So
mine
it crawls
just,
in the
yeah.
sandwich as well, doesn't it? And I was expecting like a
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like biting straight into it.
That scientist woman was the dumbest of them all. Yep, agree totally with you, Martin. I was rooting for the bad guys. Yeah, me too.
Yeah. Come on, eyeball. I love that eyeball. I want that to absolutely win. I want that to fuck everyone up.
Well, at this point, I mean, it's certainly the most sensible thing on that ship, isn't it?
Well, yeah.
You know, so.
I mean, the other scientist wasn't too bad. He was like, "Why? Like, my God, you've left the lid off. Like,
Yeah,
you
he
need to
did
put this
question
on."
that,
Do
didn't
you
he?
know what I mean? Like, he's like, "What are you doing? Like, do you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, at least there was a little bit of common sense." But he still stood there, and in the background, you've got Oculus T in its jar, like, you know, stashed on the wall with a red light on, and then they just both do one. They're straight out the door
Yeah.
without even. I mean, why would you not just turn around and there's even a computer screen with it there with a red light next to it? It's
Well,
like,
you'd
Yeah.
have thought it was such a sort of secure environment for those species that not would there just be a red light? There might be an alarm.
Yeah, you'd
Going,
think, wouldn't you? Yeah, you would.
You would have thought so, wouldn't you?
it's just throughout the whole episode, the incompetence is just that much.
Yeah.
Like, I must admit, that it was the thing that annoyed me most throughout the whole episode. I was just like, why?
Agreed.
It's like when you're watching a horror film and people, you know, falling over and tripping over, and you know, they're just like really monging it, and it's just like, oh my God, it's just so frustrating.
You just
And-
know that in a horror film, when they split up and run off, they're all going to be picked off one by one.
I know from my own job, right? When you're dealing with like locking things down and stopping people getting access, you do it, check it at the time that you've done it right. You then double check it later
Check it
on
again.
before you leave the area. Like, I know this from my own experience.
The
And the fact
basic
that
science is free, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like even when you do an experiment, you do it 3 times. Everything as free attempts, free goes. You know.
Yeah. You would make sure, especially if you're dealing with something that's quite frankly lethal, you would make sure you would check that room every time you leave it.
I still think a lot of it was that they just didn't believe that the bug type ones were that dangerous.
Maybe not, but after they've just escaped and you've just put them in, clearly at that point you know they are pretty smart.
Well,
at that point you should be double checking. But no, she's useless, incompetent.
But she
absolute
was more
twat.
interested in arguing with that other guy by him saying
Yeah.
you left the lid open. She's like, no, I didn't. I know I shut it.
Well, that's even worse because that proves that they're able to open it
Exactly.
after it's been closed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So she should be like, wow, that's even worse then. Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean? He should have said, well, if he did close it and they still escaped, then we've got a bit of a problem. But no, just blindly just eat me sandwich, drink me juice, and let's get away.
Yeah, look
I
at
just
this.
think that's a really choice decision, right?
Maybe humans are just morons.
Like, it would be more believable if she sat there eating, I don't know, a snack out of a packet, like I don't know, some crisps or some nuts or something. But the fact that they had her there with this big huge sandwich going, "Rah,"
Yeah.
I'm like, what is that? What is that? Is that scene? It's got to be showing that she is completely crap at being a scientist.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I can't think of a single occasion where anyone would think that's acceptable. I mean, you must know this from when you was at school. Would they let you eat stuff
Exactly.
in a science lab? No,
Yeah,
they
you wouldn't
wouldn't.
be sitting in science, sitting there eating your sandwiches, would you?
You definitely wouldn't be drinking anything because you've got
Yeah.
loads of chemicals in a science lab, especially like in a place like that are probably lethal if they get in your bottle. You know, I know for a fact if you was in a classroom, they'd be like, "No, you're not drinking that because there's acid in some of these jars and various other things." They wouldn't let you drink anything.
I still
Yeah.
go. The more we're talking about it, though, the more I'm still going down that line of this was all Wayland could get to master to do this mission was a bunch of absolute idiots that were crap at their jobs.
It's
I
got to be.
did
They
All
can't
of
be this
them.
bad. They can't be this bad on purpose.
Even
but
going back
by
to that,
accident.
yeah, but even going back to that medic where he'd tried to cut the tail and it ended up killing the captain, and I'm just thinking, if you're a medic, you're a real thick.
The thing is, though, I just don't buy that anyone could be this stupid on a spaceship. Just doesn't make sense to
I
me
just
at all
think
in
they've
any way.
overplayed it. I think they've like what I said with the Sims. They've overplayed it.
It'd be like getting someone off the street and going, right, build a rocket. Like, it's that level of stupidity. It would never
I'd be
happen.
using like the inside of toilet rolls with a bit of glue and
Yeah.
grit stick.
You see what I'm saying? Like,
that would be making me the IT officer on that ship.
but you see my point, though. It would be ridiculous to ask someone to do that, right? In the same way that it's ridiculous that someone this thick is on a spaceship. It's I just no, it doesn't make any sense to me. Like, I don't see how you could possibly be this stupid. And the thing is, what makes it worse is it's not just one or two of them; it's pretty much all of them. You know,
There's an interesting scene. I don't know if you've written it down, Lee, and I can't remember when it was, where they're talking about how man can split the atom and do all these amazing things, right?
Yeah.
But be so stupid in bringing these hostile aliens, capturing them, and trying to get them home. And he says that.
That was the bit
really relevant.
That was the bit earlier on when they're putting the guy in the cryo pod.
That's it. Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't really note it because
I noted it because I think it again emphasizes the fact that I think they're trying to push that people are thick, that the humans are being really thick.
Well, I
Even though
mean, we does see it in Aliens. Don't remember when she's at the board meeting and she goes, "Have IQs just suddenly dropped since I've been since I've got?" Do you know what I mean? Maybe they have. Maybe.
Yeah. And it's like he's touching on that because why put that scene in there?
But the excuse with Alien is that they're on a haulage vessel. You know, like you could kind of get away with that with a haulage vessel because in theory you wouldn't have to be quite so smart, like, but this is a science vessel. This is a thing. When Ripley says that in Alien, it works.
I think there's only two scientists, though, isn't there? Or well, two left anyway. When we,
regardless, though, it's still a science vessel. I mean, whether you've only got two scientists, surely you'd need competent people, right? Like,
appears not.
But anyway, we're getting too bogged down in this.
We are.
So
we've talked longer about the episode, and the episode was only 50-something minutes.
Yeah, well, this is why I'm going to try and rush through this bit because to be fair, there's probably less to discuss with episode 6 anyway. But yeah, I put here finally puts the lid on, locks it down, and then we get a call in for a staff meeting, right? And she takes her bottle of water with her, and of course, then we see the Oculus do its thing, spring itself against the glass, and smash the glass and escape. I thought
I
that was
love
quite
that
clever.
I love that Oculus. I just think that's brilliant. That needs its
I-
own TV show.
The way it
I d-
springs itself using its legs to rock
Yeah.
it, it's quite clever. I thought
I'm
definitely more
just
clever than the humans.
amazed in, like, however many years into the future that is, that they haven't designed, like, a better form of glass that just, if you're housing specimens in that are incredibly dangerous, something that isn't
Put it
just
in a
going to
glass
shatter into
jar.
1,000 pieces when it's dropped from like 2 meters in the air. Like, why not use like hardened glass
Can I point something out?
or just something else? Just
Throughout the entire series, we have seen that type of glass. It's,
I know.
it's on the island Neverland.
Yes.
All of the specimens get put in rooms that have got that sort of glass you're talking about. So it is stupid that it isn't on the ship. If you got it on Earth, surely you should have it in a ship, right? So, but again, I think we're giving this too much credit, right?
Maybe.
Quite clearly, I think what they do a lot of these things because it's, well, we want the story to go this way, so we're going to do it this way. I honestly do think, because you get this impression watching it, because what Paul said there makes perfect sense, right? We know they've got extra strong glass. They're using it in the Prodigy Corporation to hold the specimens, and it would make perfect sense that they would have that on the ship as well. However, the writers want what happens to happen, so they don't even think about that. They just gloss over it, don't they?
It'd have been more believable if someone went a bit Looney Tunes on the ship and just released them. And was like, let's release these, that would have been a better story.
Right, so this is the next part. We're going to sweep the ship to look for the xenomorph. Then you get the explanation about the fuel situation, saboteur on board. This all happens in this meeting, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And then she calls Moron Boy by name. And this was the bit that got me. This is how thick he is. He don't even know his own name. She calls him by his name. He looks behind him and then he goes, "What, me? Well, that's your fucking name, isn't it? Moron Boy." Like, what
is his name, by the way?
I
can't even remember what he's called.
I don't know, because I refer to him as Moron, so it's just easier. I don't feel the need to learn the character's name because he's an idiot. And I know he's going to die, so I don't feel the need to really know it. It's just easier to call him Moron. So, but yeah, it's the way he looks behind him. What, me? Well, yeah, that's your name, isn't it? And then of course, we see, and I don't know about you. Did any of you think the same as me, that Moro looked at the bottle and saw something floating in the bottle?
I can't say I noticed that.
When you see the, I don't know what you'd call it, spawn, offspring, whatever, floating around in a bottle, you can see it through the glass bit on the
like
side.
The tadpole sort of things. Yeah, you can. I know she almost says cheers, and then I was expecting it to drink it, but she doesn't.
There's a point. There's a point where she goes to drink it, puts it back on the table, and it's facing Moro. And I could have sworn that Moro could see it in the bottle because he looks at it. So I don't know. Maybe he saw it, maybe he didn't. But anyway, and then of course, Moron starts choking because he's put too much hot sauce on his food. Again, how stupid do you want to make this character look? I'm surprised that this kid's lived as long as he has. He's got no business of doing so. And then obviously, you know what's coming. He drinks the water, and I just thought, well, I'd like to say I'm upset that you drank that water, but actually, no, I'm not. I can't wait for what comes next. So, and then I noted the only convincing guy in this scene is Moro. Without a doubt, the acting in this bit is terrible. Like, that acting captain, she's a terrible actor. You know, the part where she's shouting at Moron Boy, and I just thought, I don't believe anything you're saying. Like, you sound like you're reading it directly off the script. There's like no emotion behind it. It just sounds very false when she's saying this stuff. And what makes it worse is obviously when Moro then starts talking, it's like, right, now this highlights just how bad she is now, because he's a great actor and I believe everything he's saying, and she's completely the opposite. Did you notice that in this scene, the way she's talking? It just sounded very wooden, and
I
I
just
can't
think
remember, to be honest.
the thing is, right, is you can't go too deep because it's TV, and you're always going to get a real imbalance of actors in TV programs.
I don't know.
I'm used to that.
I don't buy that. I mean, when you consider like streaming platforms now, they use a lot of actors from films and all
Yeah, but
sorts. Like
you think of all
could
the
have
big,
good actors.
yeah, but all of the great TV shows over the years, there's always the weak actors in there. Always, like The Walking Dead, Game of Thrones, all of them. There's always an actor where you think, oh, they don't really fit in.
I just can't think of an incident where I've noticed it that much. Like, she's really bad. Like, even a bit later on where she's trying to get in the mother room, like when she's going, it's behind me, it's coming. And I thought, yeah, I don't believe what you're saying there either. You don't sound very distressed. Like, you know?
Oh, I
Yeah.
agree. She's a crap actress.
Yeah,
But,
terrible.
Do you think she looks a bit like, is it Eva Mendes or something like that?
She does a bit. She does.
Yeah,
Yeah.
She really reminds me of her. Like,
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I agree totally. She's a
Timu,
poor actress.
Timu version.
Yeah. Yeah. Right. And then we get to the part where Moro's interrogating the crew while the recovery program's working, right? And I mean, first of all, he talks to the doctor, doesn't he? Now, what I noted after that was, why isn't anyone looking for the xenomorph? Because no one has bothered to look for this thing. You know, you were asking a while ago, how big does this thing get? And you said you were going to look for it, but no one has looked for it yet. Why is nobody looking for it? What are they all doing? Like, why wouldn't you wake up the crew and go looking for it? But no.
Hunt it down.
Yeah. I just...
But again, perhaps they didn't see it as a threat. Perhaps they don't know how big the thing gets. Perhaps they don't. That doesn't scare them.
I don't know, though. They know they're dangerous species. You know it's a threat. You know that you've collected 5 dangerous species. I mean, I would know that's a threat. It's a dangerous species. And not only that...
That might relate to what you said earlier, though, and perhaps all they've ever seen is the egg.
But not only that, if you weren't worried about it, why would you be asking how big does it get?
Yeah, but that might have been a hypothetical question.
I don't know.
I just speaking out loud and just be like, "Oh, how big does this thing get?"
I mean, of course, the other thing is he's give her a gun as well earlier in the episode.
Yeah.
What did you think that was for? Decoration? Like, that's so you can go looking for it, right? Like, I don't know.
I think there's definitely heavy editing.
I can hear my own voice. Where's that coming from?
You can what? Hear your own voice?
Yeah, somebody got their sound up loud.
I've got my headphones on, so
I can hear my voice coming back through someone's mic.
What about now?
I'd have to... No, I can still hear it.
I can still hear it.
I can't hear it. It must be my end then.
Yeah, if you can't hear it, it must be.
Yeah, I've never had that before.
You're the only person who's not echoing as well.
Maybe just put the volume down a little bit, Scott. Maybe that'll fix it. Because you don't normally have this issue, so...
It wasn't doing it before.
No, it's only just started doing it, isn't it?
It could be StreamYard, because, to be honest...
Is it all right now?
It's better. I can still hear it, but...
I don't know what I can do.
I think it's probably StreamYard, to be honest.
There is an option, isn't there? There's when you go into audio, a thing where you can tick the auto echo cancellation sort of thing. But
hold on, I'm now checking.
Yeah, you might have to go.
Oh,
back.
I know what. Oh no, it is on Yeti.
Yeah.
I don't know what is all of a sudden caused that.
Have you got your mic closer to the speakers than you normally do?
It stops now. Oh no, it's still going.
Yeah. Anyway, we'll move on. We'll have to deal with it. So yeah, like I said, why isn't anyone looking for the xenomorph, right? But next part, you then got the engineers repairing the ship, and did you notice the part where they try and like do like a fake where they show the chain moving as a shadow, and they're trying to trick you into thinking it's the Xenomorph tail. Did you notice that?
Yeah.
I was like, nice try.
The moron. The moron when he's moving
that's
it about.
Yeah.
Has that gone now? Is that gone, Lee?
I can still hear it, but
really, that must be a fault because my microphone is miles away now.
Hang on, stop talking a sec. It might have. It's very slight. I can hear it, but it's very slight now. So yeah. Yeah, so then obviously after that bit with the deep fake with the tail sort of thing, which is actually a chain, then we see Moron Boy start spewing up blood, don't we? And he passes out. At that point, I was like, yay, finally. You know, I was glad when he stopped speaking, to be honest. Like,
more oxygen for everyone else.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. Same as the part, like with the next part, when they get him in the lab and they send about opening him up, and I'm thinking, yeah, open him up, please do. Please just kill him as quickly as possible. He's annoying. You know? It's another one like Romulus, isn't it, where certain members of the crew, you just want to see them die, don't you? You know? Yeah.
Maybe that's why they make them so annoying, because you're like, I want this guy to die. It's like the opposite of what used to be back in the day, you know, when you want people to survive. Now it's like, oh my God, I just wish these would even die.
I do think a lot of it is deliberate, is in that they're just cannon fodder. It's almost as if film and TV now doesn't want you to relate to some of these people.
Yeah, I always think that's a bad way of doing it, though, because
I agree.
It's better if you're invested in the characters, right?
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, again,
we're not invested in any of these, are we? Really?
No.
Moral, maybe.
Again, this all lends itself to that thing that I always say about lazy writing. You know, it's a lazy way of doing it, I think. You know, so
I still think this could have been a whole lot worse. I'm still really liking it. You know, this is better than I thought it was going to be.
Episode 6 is better, but I mean, we'll get to that. We'll go for it. But so yeah, then we skip to scientist and acting captain realised that the Oculus is loose. It took them this long to realise that he's out. And then they get called to the med bay, so they leave and seal the lab. Now you knew this was foreshadowing was coming next. You knew, because obviously we know from episode 1 that something's gone on in that lab and there's somebody on the floor who's been shot. So we know it's leading to that, don't we?
Yeah.
Because you remember in episode 1, you see the young lady in there, don't you? Dead. Mm-hmm. So, but yeah, they go to the science lab. Not science lab, the med bay, should I say. And this is a part where the stupid scientist who's had water and a sandwich open in the science lab is now going to help do surgery. I wouldn't want her operating on me. She's an idiot. There's no way I'd want her doing anything on me. But while they're going to that, Morrow's talking to Tang, and Tang obviously at this point explains that somebody's leaving their cryopod without them knowing. He kind of has to spell it out, doesn't he? Because he's like, "You're missing it." But
you think you would have mentioned that before, right? To the to the security kind of officer, why does he not mention that before now?
There's a couple of problems with this, right? Number one, like you said, why has Tang not said anything? He obviously knew this. But the other problem is, right, if you know there's a saboteur on board, but you can't tell how they're doing it, surely as security, you would check the cameras in the cryo area to make sure that no one's getting out of a cryo tube, wouldn't you? I know I would.
Well, it's even more reason to wake everyone up and get them to report to a certain location.
Yep.
You know, that's what you would expect a security officer to do, really.
And then you know who's missing and you know your saboteur is. Yeah, absolutely.
Which is why when I was watching it, why I thought that the cyborg from very early on knew what he had to do. And they were all expendable. And it was just all about him getting those specimens back.
Well, like I say, he even points it out to him earlier in the episode. He actually says, you know, they're my mission and they take priority. So he's already told them.
I think way early on in that episode, he had already planned that they were all expendable. They're all going to die. They're all cannon fodder. And he was just going to make sure he could contain them aliens.
Yeah.
That was it.
Now, this bit here, obviously, after he's talked to him and he says to him about the cryopods and people leaving, he then leaves him in the room. And I don't know about you, but did you think the same as me? Right, I know what's happening to him then, because of the fact that he left him in a room, locked in a
Yeah.
room on his own.
Oh,
It was
yeah.
obvious, wasn't it? You
Yeah.
know. Plus, the other reason why I had a feeling this was going to be the case. Did you notice when he was interrogating the doctor, they made a point of showing that water was dripping on him? And I thought that's going to come into it later on when obviously a xenomorph's above drooling,
Yeah.
and they're going to think it's the water, and it's not. It's the drool from, which of course, is what happens. But, and then we get the next scene, recovery complete. Morrow finds call logs between Chief Engineer and Boy Cavalier. Oh, shocker. We didn't see this coming several episodes ago, did we, boys?
Yeah.
We all knew it,
called
didn't we?
Didn't we? We called it right at the start.
Yeah. Now, what I found interesting about that conversation is that Cavalier, he's so cocky that he's insulting the guy about him shagging cows or something. You notice that when he said, wherever you come from, like, wherever. And I just thought, like, should you really be talking to someone like that that's doing something for you that you want? Like, is that the best way to go about getting someone to do something for you?
Yeah, but he just
Insulting
don't
them?
care, does he? He's got power. He don't care.
He's got a total lack of respect for anyone, hasn't
That's
he?
it.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, and yet that chief engineer still thinks this is a good idea doing this, right? But then the other thing that come out of this conversation is he says to him, he says, I want a new body. Well, I want one of them new bodies you've got, right? And if you notice, he says, we can do that almost, but he kind of says the almost bit quietly so the guy doesn't hear it. And I'm sitting there like you probably thought the same as me. You lie inside because you know that you can't put an adult mind in a synth body. We've already been told this in the beginning, right? But obviously the idiot he's talking to doesn't realize that he says we can do that almost.
Almost.
Yeah, he kind of says it, doesn't he? Like under his breath a bit. Yeah. And then we got the part where Morrow starts checking the cryopods and he finds one empty, don't he? That's the next scene. And then it jumps from that to the containment breach, Med Bay 1. And this is a part, obviously, where Morrow explains who the saboteur is. Engineer explains the Moron boy's situation to him, that, he's been spewing up blood.
I must admit, when you see the picture on the wall of like it looks like a tube with like something going down like inside the body.
Yeah.
I like when we saw that originally, when they board the ship and the brother sees it, etc. I thought that was like the face hugger with the thing down the neck.
Yeah, I did.
I didn't
Yeah.
think it was what it was when we did like finally get to see it.
Yeah.
So that kind of threw me a bit at first. I was like, oh right, I didn't realize that.
Yeah,
So.
it did make you think, didn't it, that it might be that.
But again, he's got blood coming out of his mouth and all sorts. They've got no masks on.
No.
I think they maybe glove up, but there's no eye protection.
No.
There's no there's just nothing. Like it just seems really like amateurish. Like for a science vessel, the med lab, it's not what you would expect. Especially,
I think even them that they were completely incompetent. The medics.
Yeah, well, one of them's a dumbass scientist that was eating in the science lab.
Well, yeah.
So, I mean, are you surprised by this? You know? But I mean, it gets even more dumb in the next part, you see, like after, because there's this bit in between where he's explained the situation about what's happened to him. And then I jotted down, still no one's looking for the xenomorph, right? Still.
running riot somewhere.
And then I put in brackets, wake the crew up, you idiots. Like, because they still haven't done that. And then of course they decide to do surgery, don't they? And then this is when things get even worse, isn't it? Because they decide they're going to remove the parasites while the xenomorph is attacking Tang, who's still stuck in the cell, which, let's be honest, we could see coming. It was obvious when he got locked in there that was going to happen to him, right? And Moro tells them not to remove the ticks. Obviously, again, he knows something they don't. Although, personally, I think I would have probably not done that after seeing what them things have been doing to the rats she's putting in that jar. She's seen that. She knows what they do. Would you not be thinking at that point, if we open him up, these things could start sucking the blood out of us?
Yeah.
They hadn't
Like-
seen them release that like gas, that like toxic whatever it was. I don't think.
Hang on. Oh, what
correct me if I'm wrong.
they release? What the parasites
Yeah,
release?
when they try to like, I don't think so. But if they had, then even more reason to not remove or not try and pull them off. Or do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I'm guessing they didn't know they could do that. I'm guessing, but regardless of that, they know full well. Well, she knows full well that they suck the blood out of whatever she's been putting in
At
the
that
jar.
point, have they related that they were from those leech things, from the ticks?
When they open him
Well,
up,
when they open them up, they can see
Yeah.
that that's what they are.
Yeah, but do they know they're the same things? Because they're very small, aren't they? They're very different.
No, they don't. They do say they're ticks.
Ah, right. Okay.
Yeah, they do say that.
I couldn't remember if they did or not.
And of course, yeah, it lets off the gas, and they all basically keel over.
I like that though. I like that gas.
Yeah,
I like they had like a defense mechanism like that. I thought that was pretty cool.
But it's a bit like the face hugger, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? When
Yeah,
they try and cut it,
totally.
and it's like everything
Very
has a little
related.
defense mechanism.
Yeah. I really like that touch.
and I mean, what I found with this again, Moro tells her, the acting captain, to seal the room. Like she doesn't. It doesn't occur to her to do this herself.
She's
He has to
complete
tell her.
shit. She
Yeah.
hasn't got a clue.
Yeah. And then Moro's lackey tells him something. Tells him something big just got tang. That's what he says to him, isn't it? He says, "Oh, something's got tang," and he went, What is it?" And he goes, "I don't know, but it was big." Like, at that point, you should be thinking, "Man, I'm stupid. Why was I not looking for the xenomorph?" But no one says anything. So Moro says we need to get to the bridge, seal ourselves in. We'll get into.
Sorry, I just want to say, why does the alien actually go for him?
Again,
Like
this is
it
another
just doesn't.
point. If he's an android, why would that go for him?
I mean, I know, like in
Dunno.
Aliens, obviously Bishop gets taken out by the Queen.
I was going to say
Sorry,
that's
spoiler
the point.
alert, in case anyone's seen that.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, but that's a bit different, isn't it? Because it's the
it's
end
different
of the film.
circumstances. Yeah,
Yeah.
he's just sat there. He's not doing anything.
Bishop's in his way, isn't it? Bishop's
Yeah,
in
exactly.
his way. That's
Where
why
that
it kills
doesn't seem to be the case this time. So it just seems a bit bizarre that it's.
This is why
You
I
know.
keep questioning that is he really an android? Because one, he's smoking fags, he's perving on a girl, and then the alien doesn't need to kill him, but decides to stalk him and kill him.
Well, then there's the fact that he screams as the xenomorph.
Yeah, the
comes at
scream
him.
as well. That doesn't make
And
sense.
also the other point is, you notice they don't show him dead.
No.
In the original episodes, like the first ones,
Yeah, but
they've
it's a
never
quick
we've
flash
never
in
come
the
across
first-
him.
In the first
did-
episode, it's a quick flash. You don't really see it very well.
You don't.
So,
it
but when
does
they
not
explore the ship,
confirm-
did they come across him like when the when after crash lands?
No,
I can't remember. I can't remember seeing
remember
him.
them seeing that.
No, all you
only
see is a
when they
quick
crash
flash.
land. Yeah,
All you see is a quick flash of him screaming. You don't see anything.
you don't see anything else.
Yeah.
Even in the other episodes, when they go onto the ship, you don't see them in that interview
exactly.
room. You see him. So, is he an android? I'm still not convinced he's an android.
It does make you wonder why they're not showing you whether he is or not, doesn't it?
There might be something later on about that.
Yeah. So this point, anyway, like I said, Moro then says about transferring controls to the bridge and sealing himself in the bridge. He's saying we'll get into a geosynchronous orbit, and then we'll get a cleaning team in. We just got to work out how to change our trajectory. So obviously, again, Moro's the more sensible person on the crew. Meanwhile, the acting captain's still just standing there dumbstruck. And this is the point where we knew it was going to happen. Moro takes control, doesn't he? And he basically says, I'm taking control of this. Tells acting captain and engineer to transfer the controls to the bridge, while him and Lackey wake up the crew. Like him and Chlamydia go to wake up the crew. Finally, they're going to wake up the crew. Like, really? You know, why have you not done this sooner? Like, we've all been shouting this throughout the entire episode at this point, right? So it just staggers me why you wouldn't have done it sooner. It really does. Then we end up, of course, like as they go to wake up the crew, that's when we end up with the chief engineer shooting at Moro and Chlamydia. And Lackey gets wounded. And I don't know about you, but I noticed it was right outside that science lab straight away. I thought, I know where this is going, you know. And of course, to take cover, they run off into the science lab, which we know has already been breached, and the Oculus is running around in there. And of course, bullets go flying. And at this point, the chief engineer shoots through and hits the young lad, doesn't he, in the head, killing him. And Moro then makes his escape out the other door, gets round behind the guy, don't he? Stabs him through the back. And I don't know if you noticed obviously how strong that arm is. He picks the guy up off the floor with one arm, you know, and then the guy basically explains to him, you can't stop this, you know, sort of thing. And of course, you know, we noticed the Oculus get out of the room. What I liked, nice little touch, was when the Oculus crawls down the camera when it escapes. Did you notice that? I thought that was a nice little touch. Well, that was pretty cool. And then we see, obviously, the ticks going for Chlamydia, don't they? Which explains where they come from in the first episode when the rescue team goes in the room.
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
And come out in the body, right? So, I think we are nearly done on this episode.
I was going to say,
it took ages getting through this bloody one, isn't it? It's so much. So I'm going to try and rush through
Can
this.
I just say, Eva Mendes, the Timu one, she can run, by the way. Like, when she turns around, she's like face to face with a Xeno. Like,
I would strongly disagree. I know what you're saying.
Either that thing's really slow or she's incredibly fast.
Yeah, exactly my point.
It just seemed to, I was like, what?
Yeah,
And as well, like she's drawn her gun in slow motion, and then rather than kill her,
I love
like
the
it's with everyone else
cinematography on that bit though. The
corridor, yeah, it does. It looks really good.
That's really good.
Yeah, there's a few problems I have with that whole scene because that is actually the next scene, isn't it? I mean, what I didn't like, and Martin said this actually when we did the Geekbait podcast, we was talking about it, and we all agreed that one of the problems with it is wide shots. Like these still wide shots, it's way too lit. You can see it's a guy in a suit, and at times it looks like a dodgy old 70s Doctor Who suit. It looks really bad, like in places.
It did in that really lit scene. And it's almost as if he wants to, because in all the Alien films, it's dark.
Yeah.
It's almost as if he's tried to deliberately make it light so we see the aliens in a different way.
Yeah, but there's a reason why they were dark, isn't it? That's the thing.
Because you can tell that's a man in the suit, and the neck of that alien, you can see that's where the bloke's head is. It's like really thick. It just looks completely ridiculous, that bit.
Yeah, it's not good. There's even a scene where you see it standing near the door later on, and it's waggling its head around. And it just looks silly. Like really, it looks like a bloke doing a dance in a xenomorph costume. Yeah, it's weird.
They spent the camera focuses on the alien way too much. It's too lit.
But other than that, the other part, the plot armor as well, like you know, the way it trips her up with the tail.
Yeah, exactly.
It would have just stabbed her like
straight
away.
Well, it's killed everyone else. Do you know what I mean? So why start?
And of course, like Paul just said, the running. Like I mean, now don't get me wrong, the alien when it's running looks good because it's CGI and it's been done pretty good.
Yeah,
I quite liked that. It looked realistic. It looked good, but the proportion of how fast she's running and how fast the xenomorph's running when it shows you the scenes of it running,
that would have got her.
There's no way she would have outrun it. No way. She can't even run anyway. She can't run. Look at the way she runs. It's terrible.
You know what, though? The thing that disappointed me the most was because, you know me, I'm rooting for this.
I know what you're going to say here.
I'm rooting for the, is it
the eyeball?
The
Oculus
eyeball.
T.
And
Yeah.
the fact that we didn't see that butcher, that engineer, and get in his eye socket, and he
Yeah,
just was already there.
Well, that's the
Oh.
next bit, isn't it? When she runs away, she seals herself in the room, and then that's when she
Oh
realizes
yeah,
that
yeah.
he's
I
got.
thought she ran away to get away from them. Oh yeah, no, you're
She's
right.
running to get away from the xenomorph, seals the door,
Yeah, that's
and
it.
it's trying to bang its head against the door and get in. And she talks to him, and he turns round, and he's got it in his head, isn't he? Like he's got the Oculus in his eye.
Yeah, we don't get to see it.
And I basically put it out because this was something Martin also
I
said. On
told you Disney wouldn't fricking do it. They done it with the sheep, but
Yeah,
I still wanted to see a human being get smashed up and that go in a eye socket.
Well, yeah, that's what I was about to say. This was something
Yeah.
that also got said on the podcast. Martin
Yeah.
said, "Well, they chickened out, didn't they?" This is what Martin said.
Yeah, they're chickened
Yeah.
out.
True.
We freaking knew it.
So yeah, this bit I didn't like the bit where the xenomorph sort of doing this funny little dance outside the door. But what I did like was when it gets up on the ceiling and runs off along the ceiling.
Yeah.
I thought that was quite well done, considering it was obviously practical effects there. That looked a little bit better. But yeah, and then of course we see Moro come out the corridor and he forces the door with his robot, his cyborg arm. That arm's got to be pretty strong, isn't it? I mean, picks a guy up with one arm. Now he's lifting like a sealed door with one arm as well. And of course, then we get the part where as he gets in, he finds that she's unconscious. And then he realizes that the engineer's got the Oculus in its head. And then the Oculus calls the xenomorph. Doesn't it? It calls it. It does that funny like bark, almost like a raptor out of Jurassic Park. Did you notice that?
Yeah, but then they fight. So is it? I didn't
No,
really
it is.
It is definitely calling it.
It is calling because there's nothing else it could have been doing at that point. And I think the reason it calls it is because it knows that Moro's a threat to him at that point. Again, I think it all goes back to self-preservation with this thing, right?
Yeah, no, you could be right there.
Because when the xenomorph comes back, obviously Moro then has to make the choice of what he's going to do, right?
Yeah.
So he stuns the Oculus. Now you'll notice that it doesn't really work on the Oculus, which is another thing. That thing's pretty strong compared to a xenomorph. It takes a blast from that gun and it still keeps going. Did you notice that?
Yeah.
Whereas the xenomorph,
which bit was that? I think I must have missed that bit. I can't remember that bit.
The bit where
when the engineer with the thing in his eye fights the alien.
Yeah,
because he's on the alien's back, isn't it? And it's
right,
like stabbing them.
Yeah, but what I was saying before, what I was saying, Paul, was the bit before that is obviously Moro has to try and make a decision.
He tries to stun it, doesn't he?
So he tries to stun the Oculus to get past it, and it works, but it doesn't stun it very well. And then, of course, then the Oculus then realizes, right, shit, now I've got a xenomorph to deal with. And so it goes for the xenomorph. And
I love that bit. I really like that bit.
It was all right, but the only thing I couldn't figure out was, like, he was biting at the xenomorph. And I thought, wouldn't the acid be like...
Yeah, but he doesn't care because he's just an eyeball.
Well, yeah, but...
He's using
it's just a host, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, but surely, I mean, like, not being funny, but your eye's not far from your mouth and acid spraying. I mean, and don't forget, it does tuck itself in the head. I mean, surely it could still harm itself doing that, right? I don't know, just... But like you say, I suppose...
That's just trying to take it out, innit? Like, that xenomorph stabs it with his tail, the actual body, about 5 times, doesn't it?
Well, one thing I'd say is it clearly enhances a human, I'd say, because there's no way a human would have put up that good a fight against it. Like,
no.
You know? So it's quite obvious that it does...
And what was interesting is, like what you said, it goes in to bite its neck. So it's like the Oculus already knows
it might know a weak spot.
Maybe a weak point for the alien.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe. I got loads of comments here. That was daft. Yeah, they did. They pussied out, yeah.
But
agreed.
I live in hope that moment is still to come in the last 2 episodes. We've got to see that get in someone's eyeball.
I don't think we will do. They had opportunity to do it there and they didn't do it.
Yeah. I think that, they're just going to save it. Save the best.
Yeah, he did have a fight with the Xeno beeps, yeah.
I love that scrap. I thought that was really good.
It didn't try and get in the eye of the xenomorph, no, because they don't have eyes, do they?
No, that's where it was panicking, wasn't it? Because it runs in its head,
Yeah.
trying to find somewhere to go.
Because first of all, it fights while it's still in the human host, and then it jumps out at it, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And at that point, obviously, that's when the acting captain wakes up and gets away. But it's all for naught, isn't it? Because obviously she gets trapped in the corridor, which then shows the scene that we saw
Who dead?
at the beginning of episode 1, where he seals the door and locks himself in the panic room, and she gets battered. So, yeah. And then, of course,
can I just point out a mistake that I think that they made? And it's when he's typing "crew dead," you see like the reflection of the screen on his face,
right.
but yeah, you can actually read it forward. But if it was the reflection off the screen,
It should be
it should be
front.
backwards.
Ah, yeah.
I didn't notice that, actually.
I didn't notice that.
No.
That is a fault,
That's interesting.
Yeah, why is
I
it
hadn't
forward
picked
and
up
not
on that.
backwards? But I just wonder if it's just an error, or if there's a reason why. I don't know.
I would go with
But
error.
yeah, the writing's all forward, and it should be backwards.
That is interesting.
Right, boys, we are nearly at the end of this fucking
I was going to
episode.
say, can we end this episode
So
now?
let's just get it done, right? So we then go to present day. Morrow meets Yutani. Now, this bit I didn't quite understand. He made it adamant he wasn't coming in, and then all of a sudden he comes in.
Now, that's what I didn't understand.
Yeah,
I
it makes
did
sense.
not get that at all.
Yeah.
Has there been some sort of jump, maybe? Although no, because when we're in the next episode, no.
Yeah,
I don't know.
We find out Morrow is loyal as her grandmother took him off the streets. So that now explains why he's so loyal, because he was on the streets and he got taken in. He says he'll get the specimens back, then kill Cavalier. That I liked, because I can't wait to see Cavalier get murdered. She explains that they're going to try arbitration. Morrow says unless lawyers are soldiers, we'll have to do this my way. And Yutani tells her people then whatever he wants, he gets. And then that's the end of the episode. Finally, we have finished this terrible episode.
See, I've got to disagree. I didn't think it was terrible. I actually really liked it.
I didn't.
So you can say you thought it was terrible. I'm going to say that was a 7 out of 10.
I liked it, but now that we went back and now that I'm aware of all the things that I completely was oblivious to, it's like, well, maybe. But
yeah,
no,
but I think sometimes
when I watched it, I enjoyed it.
I honestly think in this day and age, right, we're being too critical of things.
I don't. It's Disney. You
Just
can never
imagine
be too critical.
if these things that we regard highly came out now, we'd be hypercritical of them. Everything has loopholes and
but we wouldn't know. I mean, you think, right? First Star Wars film, the only loophole in the first Star Wars film was that there was a design fault where you could fire a torpedo down an exhaust fan. That was literally the only loophole in that first film. I've just gone through an hour episode and I've pulled out how many? 20 issues with it, maybe more. Older stuff wasn't this bad. It wasn't. I don't think I'm being hypercritical.
I still think we've got to remember though that this is just a TV series, and
that don't wash, man. I watch loads of TV series and they're good.
See, I really like the episode. I'm giving it a 7 out of 10. What would you give it then, Lee?
Me?
Yeah.
You'd be lucky if you get a 5 from me.
Wow. What about you, Paul?
I've really enjoyed it. The first.
See, I enjoyed it.
I'd probably give it an 8. Honestly,
really? Well, there you go.
It felt like a miniature Alien film in an episode in an hour.
I tell you,
I thought it was really I really enjoyed it. Even though I found it very frustrating that the people are so dumb, but I think they're so dumb for a reason. Like I don't believe that they just happen to be completely idiots.
Yeah. I'm still convinced it's all for a reason. There's a reason why they're all idiots.
I just don't buy it. You like I say, you can't send people into space that are this idiotic. Like honestly,
remember is the writer has got a lot of pedigree. The guy that's done Fargo, and that was highly commended. That was critically acclaimed.
Well,
So
not
the
being
guy
funny,
is stupid.
Ridley Scott had a good pedigree, and then he did Prometheus. I mean, like that don't
Yeah,
really mean
yeah,
anything,
but-
does it?
Yeah, but anything that's creative, you burn out, right? Whether that be music, whether that be art, whether that be film, you get to a certain age where you burn out. You know, all directors end up getting poorer. You only got to look at Quentin Tarantino.
The
His
thing
films
is,
over the last decade have progressively got worse and worse and worse. They all lose
thing
their
is,
what is it?
I
Mojo.
don't think I'm being overly critical, right? And I'll tell you why. Because the first 4 episodes I was pretty okay with. It's only this episode, so I don't think I'm being overly critical at all. Because
No, well, no.
I even think that episode 6 was better because there's less issues with it. Don't get me wrong, there are still issues, but it's not as bad.
Yeah, I see more issues with episode 6 than I did episode 5.
Well, let's get into it because we are running
Yeah.
out of time.
Come on, let's get on. We've only got 15 minutes to.
So episode 6, The Fly. And obviously, you know, they suddenly remembered that they've got this fly species that we haven't seen yet. So I've got here, opening scene. Wendy is talking to the Xeno while the Oculus is watching. That Oculus is watching everything that's going on in it. And then we see an insect hive in a containment room. And I noted down, Xeno looks weird. Did you think the Xenomorph looks a bit strange?
I think it's because of how it's been developed in that lung, just in that canister.
I thought it did.
Almost like there's
I remember
something
saying
missing
last
with
time,
it.
I thought it looked like a snake,
Yeah, you did say
like a
that.
snake body or
But with
something. It
it-
just looked a bit weird.
With this, I noticed that its head seems to join into its body.
Yeah, it's
It's
definitely.
not separate. It's very
But
odd.
what threw me with that scene, though, Lee, and what they've confirmed with that is gone against what was originally supposed to be with the original Alien and Aliens. But they brought it back for Romulus, was the cocoon.
Yeah.
Now, that's now shown that once it goes from face hugger to embryo to chest burster, it's then supposed to find somewhere to cocoon to then develop.
Yeah.
And they've now chucked that out the window with this.
Well, I don't know, because don't forget, it comes out of the blocky-like thing in that cell. You don't know that the cocoon's not in the underneath, because it comes out from underneath, doesn't it?
Maybe.
So they don't show it, so it could have still been in there. But yeah, you would think it would stay in there until it's fully developed, wouldn't you? So you could be right there.
Yeah, see, I just think that disappointed me because I really because I know that was something that Geiger really wanted.
Yeah.
That was something that was supposed to be in the first Alien. It kind of got cut. I think they did actually film something relating to it. And then obviously Aliens went on a different sort of tangent. But I really that was the one thing I liked about Romulus is they brought that cocoon back.
Yeah, the cocoon that looks like a massive vagina.
Yeah, but that was two. That was
Exactly.
two. That was in honor
was Geiger, wasn't it?
of Geiger.
Yeah.
Because everything he done was kind of based on a vagina or a penis, wasn't it?
Yeah.
There's a brilliant Facebook group for Geiger.
Yeah.
And some of the stuff on there, some of the artwork is just wow, it's mind blowing.
Yeah.
It really is.
So that from the off, that one scene, I thought, hold on a minute, shouldn't this be in a cocoon by now?
You'd think, yeah.
Yeah.
But then obviously we got Kirsch and Joe watching on while she's talking to it. And Joe asks questions about how to care for Wendy. Kirsch then says to him, do you think he'll let you leave with her? She has potential to invent faster than light travel, and you just want to be her family. And then he says she's just a kid. And then he says to him, keep telling yourself that.
Yeah.
He says how it is, doesn't he?
Yeah. And then we jump from that to Atom and the scientist. I'm going to kind of go through this quickly so that we can get through it. Then we go to Atom and the scientist working on Nibs. We find out she was unstable before they put her in the body. And they had to adapt the architecture to account for it. We find out that they knew she had trauma in her past when they chose her. Atom tells them to wipe her memory before the crash event and dial back her stimulus and processing speed. Scientists explain it could alter her personality. Atom says he wants her to be normal for the reveal in 3 weeks. So it's obvious in 3 weeks' time they're going to show off their new product to all the other companies. Arthur, the male scientist, refuses to do it. His wife really stitches him up here, didn't she, that dame?
Yeah.
Because she turns around and says, I'll do it. And Atom then says, can you do it on your own? And she says, yes. She stitches him right up.
Yeah, I thought that.
If he's got to leave, then obviously, like, how does that leave their marriage? Do you know what I mean? If he's
I don't know.
not there,
maybe she didn't think he'd get fired. You know, I don't know. But obviously, the next line out of Atom's mouth is "You're fired."
Yeah.
I think she knows that if she doesn't comply, she's fucked, and this is her lifelong work. And she didn't want to let those. She sees them as her children. She didn't want to let them down. So, as a mother figure, she's choosing the kids over him.
Maybe. Obviously, he tells him that he's got to pack his things and leave. He has to the end of the day. And I then put in brackets, we know where this is going. It's obvious, wasn't it? The minute he was fired, it was so obvious.
Yeah.
But I then put, why isn't the scientist escorted around by security? Because all big companies, when they get rid of people, they have security follow them to clear out their desk and all that before they leave to make sure that they don't do anything to sabotage.
Yeah.
Or to make sure they don't steal anything that could be sold to someone else. Yeah, I can't believe that they just let him roam around doing whatever he wants for the day. Yeah. Then, of course, we have an ethical convo. Wendy is showing sympathy for the samples, especially the Xeno. Joe explains humans are different and that he tried to kill us. She says, not this one. He then says, I'm working on a way of getting us out of here. And then she says, what if I don't want to leave? So she's making excuses for the xenomorphs trying to kill people. And I mean, obviously, something happens later in the episode, so we already know where her loyalty is going, don't we? And obviously, he's made it obvious he wants to try to get her off the island. She's making it clear she don't want to leave. And then we jump to the arbitration scene. Cavalier puts dirty feet on the table. Yeah, straight away, I thought, you cocky little prick.
Like, he's such a dick, isn't he?
Yeah. Like, wouldn't you have wanted to just fly across that table and just bang? Like, you know, like,
that's good. And again, I think that's where he's quite a good actor and he's playing the role quite well. Because you just want to smash him right.
He doesn't really.
Yeah. He's clearly doing the role well. If we all thought that, you know, in that situation, we'd want to punch him. It's quite obvious he's doing the role well, isn't it? And then you see, like, I don't know if you notice, like, Kirsch and Morrow, like, subtly sort of sizing each other up from across the room, didn't they?
I like that. I thought that was really good as well, that bit.
And I just said, did you notice how dirty his feet were?
Yes. Yeah. Well, he's barefoot, and he walks around barefoot all the time.
Like, but he obviously doesn't get washed or anything. Like, how's his feet that minging? Like,
well, maybe he does wash, but I mean, if you walk around long enough with nothing on your feet, you're going to get black feet pretty quick, I would have thought, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
If you're outside, don't forget he's just gone from an
island
to a spaceship. He went from an island to a spaceship and a spaceship into an arbitration room. So your feet would be pretty black, I would have thought, if you're barefoot.
I don't know. They just look incredibly dirty. Like, yeah, I don't know. Whatever.
Now, what I liked about this scene is that Cavalier, he don't even like hesitate to drop Yutani in it, does he?
No.
He like completely blows the lid on the alien species being against several laws. Obviously, she ups the amount to 20 billion, doesn't she? In the settlement, which he agrees on, but then obviously explains that she won't get them for 6 weeks because there's a quarantine period under the Brubaker Accord, which the arbitrator obviously enforces. He agrees with it, doesn't he? She then offers 50 billion. He says no, as it's not safe. So he's playing the rules against her, isn't he? Like, yeah. I mean, obviously, he's meant to be a boy
shows
genius,
his intelligence, doesn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
He's one step ahead of the game all the time.
Yeah, clearly. He knew how to play this whole thing. Get a dry throat. So I then noted down here, Utani tells arbitrator to shut up. I thought that bit was funny when he's like, "Oh, I'd just like to thank you for such a really good." And she's like, "Oh, shut up!" Like, and she's sort of.
Yeah.
This was funny. Morrow explains that they have recruited an asset, but it's sketchy, and that Prodigy has increased island security. Morrow plans to destabilize the facility and then do this thing in the chaos. So do his thing in the chaos. So he's planning on, disabling the place, and then they go in and do what they're doing while all the destruction and everything's going on. Again, that goes back to Morrow being quite an intelligent character. He obviously knows what he's doing. He's definitely the smartest person that was on the Maginot crew, as we know. So, and then this leads to a scene I really liked. This was my favourite scene in the lift.
I did enjoy this bit. Yeah, it was good.
I had to actually jot down everything that got said because I didn't want to miss any of it. So because it's very good. So Kirsch says, "Look at you, the almost human self-hating machine. You must envy me." He then answers, "Sure, yesterday's model, the incredible, irrelevant robot. Who would want to be you? What's it like working for a company that's made you obsolete?" I mean, what a great comeback, right?
That was clever.
And then he then says, "I don't know what you're talking about." And then he says, "Your kids with their shiny new bodies. I've got to get me one of those." Then Kirsch says, "A child or their bodies, it isn't so sad." Then he says, "You know what I like most? Killing simps. They don't feel pain, so nothing clouds their minds when I start chopping them up." I mean, brutal. And then he says, Kirsch says, "See, I would imagine it's the pain that makes it satisfying, especially for cyborgs. That moment when you realise that you're not a machine after all, when that first eyeball pops." And then he says to him, "I'll see you soon, old toy." I thought that was good.
That was great.
Yeah. "I'll see you soon, old toy." I mean, what? Yeah, it was really good. And you can tell
it's coming.
Yeah, you can tell they're the two best characters in this because the whole time that scene's going on, you're like, "Oh wow, what's he going to say back to that?" Yeah, really good backwards and forwards. Yeah, if they get into it, it's going to be a good fight, isn't it? Without a doubt.
I still think there's more to that as well, because obviously later on we notice that he knows what's going on.
Yeah, I like I said before, I still think he's an undercover asset.
Yeah, I still think there's something more to him. We said that from the off, haven't we?
Yeah, and it could be like we were saying that Morrow's not in on it. So then we forward to this bit. This was one of my issues with this episode. So Nibs gets wiped, and then you put her back in with Wendy that tells her straight away what happened.
Yep.
Where's the sense in that? You wipe her brain.
I thought that was but they hadn't told Wendy what had happened. Wendy figures it out, don't she? And then goes to
but my point
I don't even think she figures it out. She just goes to see her, and then she's like, "Oh, what did you think about what happened?" And she's like, "What you talking about?"
Yeah, that's basically
and then she realized.
She's like, "What you on about? I don't know what you're talking about." And she's like, "When we went to the ship." That's what I'm saying. Like, why would you wipe her memory and then not tell the other simps not to mention it?
Or at least say, like, it's like, it's messed her up a bit. Like, just avoid. Do you know? They could have just told them any bullshit. Like, at the end of the day, they're meant to be kids, right?
Yeah.
So you could just,
They're definitely very understaffed for such a rich business.
Yeah.
They're running on a skeleton crew. They've just sacked off one of their top guys. It seems like she's the only one now that's working closely with the kids. And it's almost as if, there's not enough people running the show. It's weird.
Well, I mean, I've got a question. And it happens in the next scene, actually. So Slightly's talking to Morrow while he's out in the middle of nowhere, isn't he? And then Smee appears, right? And my question is, what is the point of Smee? What does he do other than being an annoying little knob? He just acts like a child, and that's it. He doesn't seem to have any relevance in this story.
Is this
at
the
all.
Indian kid?
No, Slightly is the Indian kid. He has
Right.
a point.
Yeah,
Smee's
because he's the one that's been made.
Smee's his best mate, the one that keeps appearing, that doesn't do anything.
I can't think which one that is.
He's the African kid.
Oh, right, yeah, because he's like the most childish one, isn't he?
Yeah, I actually don't get the point of him even being there. And in fact, in this episode, or the last few episodes, I seem to have forgot all about Curly now as well.
Yeah, them two really haven't had much at all, have they? Which makes you think that that's deliberate because they're going to have more of a plot, more relevance in the last two episodes, maybe.
It seems that Smee's just used for stupid, childish conversations, isn't he?
Yeah.
Because you get another one here with Slightly, you know. And then obviously they're talking about the fact that it sucks to be an adult, sort of thing. So, right. So then we got Joe works on an escape plan, or he's working on an escape plan, and Slightly appears behind him. He just creeps up behind him, doesn't he, in that room?
Yeah.
And he seemed like hide it away. Morrow cuts in, telling him to say to Joe, "You have to come with me. I want to show you something." Slightly tries to get Joe to the lab, but his old teammate turns up and then enters the room and says they need him for patrol.
Yeah.
Like it's even
Yeah.
them, like
Yeah.
part of his crew. They've even had to recruit them so they can like do a bit of security on the island. Like surely,
Yeah.
look, we'll just say, oh look, we need we've got a heightened security level. We need to get some,
They just
they-
don't
got,
seem
like
to have any
thousands of troops.
manpower. Yeah,
Yeah.
they don't have any crew. They don't have no manpower. It's weird.
And then you got, obviously, we knew, I don't know about you, but I knew it was coming to this while they were on patrol. I knew what the conversation would be. And obviously, he's like, starts talking about, they're talking about the Simps and Utani and all that sort of stuff. And then I put here, then they say the dumbest thing ever, that they are on an island in the middle of nowhere, no way on, no way off. I put brackets, then how did you get there then,
How
you
did you
idiot?
get there? Yeah.
Yeah. If there's no way on or no way off, how did you get there then? Like, idiot. What a stupid thing to put in the script. Like, who's writing this? And then immediately out of one of the teams says there is a way off, ships and boats at the docks. Straight after they say there's no way on or off, one of them says, well, there's docks and ships and boats.
Hmm.
Like,
I mean,
what?
boats have been around quite a while, right?
Yeah, well, yeah. Well, yeah, exactly. But then, of course, Joe, who's the ultimate idiot as well, with the great plot armor, I mean, he makes it obvious what he's up to, and his team leader figures it out, doesn't she? Because he starts asking questions about, like, boats and all that sort of stuff. And she tells him to stop whatever he's planning, basically, doesn't she? And not to fuck up a good thing up, like, that they've got a good thing going there, not to mess it up. And then he just says, but the monsters are here. And then she says the dumbest thing ever. She says, well, at least if I'm here, I know where they are. What? Yeah, you know where they are. About to kill you. That's where they are.
I thought that was a stupid response. That, yeah.
Yeah, it's just that whole bit. Like, I was like, wow, that is just.
Which is really weird, isn't it? Because we've just commended that scene in the elevator and how great that was, and then they go and do a scene like that, which is just fucking stupid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we got Wendy talking to Zeno again, and it's grown a bit. We notice it's bigger now, don't we? Now I put here, what is she saying to it? I mean, that's the other thing. We don't know what's being said either, do we?
No.
Like, at which point are we going to find out anything about that?
I'm still not convinced that she is communicating with it. I think she's still trying to communicate with it.
No, I don't know. It looks like it's listening to her, like, I think.
Well, it's intrigued, but I just don't think they are talking. I just don't.
I don't know if you noticed at one point. I think it is actually answering her, because there was a part where the camera's on her face and she's not moving her mouth, yet you hear noises. So I do think it is talking back to her, but who knows?
I'm still on the fence about that.
So, and then we jump to the next bit where Kirsch contacts Tootles, tells him to go and feed and water the animals, check the data, pick the next experiment from the list. And then, of course, he asks if Curly is with him, and he lies and says no because she's behind him, isn't she, at the side of the pond? He says no, and then says he can handle it on his own. And then he tells him to follow the scientific method, and then says it's a method, not a suggestion box. So quite clearly, he doesn't listen to a word he says to him, does he? Really?
No.
So
I guess we'll find out, but we'll find out his purpose anyway. His purpose.
Yeah. Well, yeah, we know his purpose. Yeah.
Yeah.
Tootle starts feeding the animals. I thought this bit was a little silly where he breaks the door off. I was like, really? Like,
Yeah.
I think it would have been better if Dad had done it as a malfunction rather than him accidentally pulled the door off. I just thought, well, that's convenient, you know.
It was interesting that they were feeding some of the specimens non-organic matter.
Well, yeah, the flies eat metal and carbon, didn't they? You know,
which means that
again,
are not safe from being destroyed.
Which again, I think is written solely for that purpose because, like, oh fuck me, we've created all these awesome aliens, and we've got to create something now that's going to kill the simps.
Yes, yeah.
And I just thought, hold on a minute, this is a bit fucking.
Especially as the whole thing that Cavalier wants is to build bodies so that people can live forever.
Yeah.
But now he's introduced a species to the planet that can actually kill the bodies that he's created for people to live forever.
Yeah, but then at the same time, right? I mean, well, obviously, like, he goes in the room, don't he? I thought it's so dumb. He takes his time, doesn't he? He's got the door wide open. I mean, why wouldn't you just literally chuck it in and shut the door, right? But no, he has to walk all the way in, keep looking around, takes ages putting the tray down. Of course, the good bit is that the Oculus, like, headbutts the glass and makes him jump.
I thought that was really good. That bit.
Good old Oculus.
And what I think he did that to see what would happen afterwards, so he knows how they get in and out, and you know.
Yeah.
But the thing that got me, when he sees the fly above him, it lands on his arm. Why didn't he like try and kill it? Like, he's meant to be super powerful. Don't even try, does he?
I think he was just because again their childlike behaviour. He just froze with fear.
Yeah. But again, you know, another reason why you don't put kids in synth adult bodies, isn't it? Like, again, just another dumb thing about the Sims, or hybrid, should I say. Yeah, and then obviously they spray him with something and he starts glitching, and then they jump on him and start eating him, didn't they, basically? Now, I'm just going to interject something here that Martin said in the group earlier on. I don't know if you heard it, but he pointed out again, like he did before, about how no one's watching. You know, like, how long does it take before anybody notices what's happened?
Yeah, but like, there ain't no fuckers available to watch it.
Yeah, but that's the point, isn't it?
Stuff.
Because they've sacked off the doctor, got the scientist bloke. The wife is, I don't know what the hell she's doing. And the android guy, he's not even back on the island yet. And it's him that's usually monitoring them all.
Yeah, he's been at the meeting.
Oh, no, Adrian Edmondson's character's with...
He's with Atom, he's with him as well, yeah.
So the main party, they're not even there. So I kind of get why they aren't monitoring that, because there ain't no body to monitor it.
But again, if you've got 6 hybrids, right, you would need a whole team to monitor, like, other than the scientists and the incursion out, you know? It just makes no sense.
Their company is massive. He's a multi-trillion billion zillionaire.
Yeah.
But he only employs a handful of people on his fucking island. That don't make no sense.
Yeah.
He's got to draft in mercenary soldiers to add to the security. It's just like, what the fuck is going on here?
Yeah.
I just feel sorry for that one guy spraying the whole bloody corridors. That's all I know what that's all about.
One guy spraying a corridor, you know, why aren't there a team of them? And I'm sorry, if you've got these hybrids that are worth billions of dollars, why would you only have a team of 2 people, a husband and a wife, fucking controlling all of them?
Yeah.
They've probably got one of the hybrids cleaning the bogs and doing the mopping up. Do you know what I mean? One of them's probably grafting in the kitchen as well, you know?
It's just very bizarre.
It don't make sense, does it? But I mean,
No.
then we go forwards into the next scene where Wendy's speaking to Dame about what they've done to Nibs. Dame explains that they had to wipe her to fix a glitch. Wendy is starting to see through their corruption and sympathize with the creatures, especially the xenomorph, which she clearly is, right?
Yeah.
She then says they didn't ask to come here. She keeps saying that. She says that twice, I think, in this episode.
That would say to me that maybe there's a communication there.
Yeah, she's starting to sympathize. Yeah. Dame starts pointing out that they're specimens for study and that we are scientists. That's what we do. Wendy then points out, like you do to us, then points out Wendy isn't my name. That's the next thing she says. Wendy isn't my name, didn't she? Then she points out that they was told to stop pretending to be people, and now she doesn't want to be people anymore if it means killing things. Taking them apart just to see what's inside. I mean, clearly she's getting attached, didn't she?
Yeah. I think she's definitely attached to them.
Yeah.
But
Then
she's seeing, maybe it's because the child's been put into the hybrid and the hybrid's personality is seeing the frailties and the negatives and the whole what's wrong with humanity is in why do you need to take them apart? Why do you need to do this?
Well, yeah, that's obviously what it is, because as the conversation progresses, she starts pointing that out, doesn't she? So she starts saying, Kirsch said people get romantic about things with feelings and that we don't have to. We can get rid of all that, see the world for what it really is, not how it feels.
Mm-hmm.
And then she says he would say that he's a machine. I found that interesting because I thought, well, so are they. So, you know, she points out that they're doing what they're doing is for them. Their job is to make sure nothing gets lost. And then Wendy says, what like Nibs did. You know, I thought that was a good comeback. Like, it's like, yeah, she turned that round on you. No, we helped her. It's new technology. Things will go wrong, but I'm here to help you. You have to tell me what's wrong so I can fix it. What if you're what's wrong? That's what she replies with, isn't it? I think that made it clear then, didn't it? Then, like, where her allegiance is going.
Yeah, there's a bit of a kickback.
I mean, she even showed some, like, sort of disdain for Cavalier in that conversation as well.
Yeah.
So, and then we go to Arthur Packin, which is the male scientist. And Joe enters the room and asks if Wendy is safe and how they can get off the island. But because he's got cameras on him, he shows Joe on the computer screen.
Well, let's be honest, nobody's going to be watching the cameras anyway. There's nobody there.
No, well, there's no one watching.
Yeah. Well, they could, but they could play it back, I suppose. It's
true.
So, but yeah, so he shows him on the screen, you know, how to turn off the tracker, gives him the boat code while pretending that he's showing them the hybrid's vitals, right? And then I put again in brackets, once again, why hasn't he got a security escort? I mean, this is why he should have one on him because of what he's doing here. And then he sees Tootles is down, so heads to the lab, doesn't he? Because he sees the message on the computer.
Yeah.
Now, who was it pointed out that there's no alarm to tell you? I think it was Martin, wasn't it? I think it was Martin. Martin said in the group, didn't he, earlier, why didn't an alarm go off? Was it him that said it, or was it one of you?
Yeah. If one of those hybrids
goes offline,
if the hybrids are worth that much money, if one of them goes offline, surely that would alarm bells would go off. Yeah, it was Martin that said that. Yeah.
Yeah, you would think that an alarm would have gone off telling them what had happened, you know?
Yeah.
I like that Mark's put they have a real people problem. To be fair, maybe he employs no one because he sees like the quality of people that Wayland's going to employ.
Maybe.
And he's just like, you know what? It just doesn't, it's more hassle than what.
Yeah, we're just going to have a few handful of people.
I like this. HR must be shocking. Yeah. Yeah. HR is shocking, I think, in any company, isn't it? So yeah, and then we realise that Kirsch is monitoring everything, isn't he? He's watching.
Yeah. Which I love that. The fact that he knows what's going down, he knows what's happening. I like that.
he's got like a pad and he's watching slightly near the lab on CCTV while he's on the transport. Morrow then tells Slightly he has to do it or his family dies, doesn't he? And then Arthur comes down the corridor, speaks to Slightly, and enters the lab while Kirsch is still watching. They find Tootles down, so Arthur opens the insect cell. While he's retrieving Tootles, Slightly opens the egg cell, don't he? Egg opens. Arthur realizes, so tries to leave the lab. Then he realizes that Slightly's locked him in, and he gets a facehugger on him, which of course we all knew was going to happen the minute he got fired. Near the beginning of the episode, we knew it was going this way. We knew Slightly had to get someone for Morrow. It was obvious he was going to be the guy. But the whole time, Kirsch is watching all of this going on, and
He's watching it all unfold, isn't he?
And then Cavalier says to him, doesn't he, "Is everything okay?" And Kirsch replies, "Affirmative."
Yeah.
You know? Wow. Then we get back to Slightly re-entering the lab, pulls Arthur into a vent. I've got a huge problem with that vent. Why have you got a big, massive vent in a secure lab?
Yep.
Like a big, massive vent that things can escape through in a secure lab. I mean, that is just
an alien loves a good air vent as well, doesn't it?
I mean, even if it was something biological, you've got a vent that will vent it out into, so you had a chemical weapon or something.
Yeah.
It's just not fit for purpose. Why would you have a massive vent in a secure lab?
They do like the big vents in this universe, though. I mean, look at Alien Isolation. I spent half my life in that game in a vent.
Yeah, but the point of that, though, right? They probably wouldn't have called it a secure lab in that, though. That's the point.
No, you're right.
You know.
Plus, you've got to remember a lot of that might have been a bit makeshift because that wasn't what that island's all about, was it?
Yeah.
So
they didn't know they were coming, though. Like, because obviously you've been in touch with the engineer on the Maginot.
True, but they've still got to make what they've got what it is, sort of thing. Maybe that was never a secure lab, but they just chose that, and it's an oversight.
It just goes to show how little amount of stuff happens in 6, because look how quick I've got. I mean, admittedly, I did kind of rush it a bit, but we've got through episode 6 already in like what, half hour? Whereas it took us.
I like the way it ends, though.
It took us an hour and 40 minutes to get through episode 5. Oh yeah, whereas the camera's going in on the sheet,
and he's just like, looking at the camera. He's just watching. Yeah.
Operationally, they have some real issues. $1 billion equipment can go offline, and no one knows. Yet they see and hear everything. Yeah, exactly. That's what you constantly heard at the beginning, wasn't it?
Yeah, but I think the person that sees and knows everything is
an idiot,
blonde-haired android.
Yeah,
and he's keeping that from Cavalier.
Yeah,
and then the other people that have got access to that. I don't know what's happened to the mum woman. I can't think of her name.
Dame.
Yeah, God knows what happened to her when this was all kicking off, but obviously the husband got a face hugger on him. So and it seems like it was just Dame, the husband, and the android. That's all there was in that whole facility.
You know what it is? I think they had to save money on the budget in this episode. That's what
that's what I thought.
It does feel that way.
They must have spunked a fair bit on the last episode.
It's like, let's have as little people in this one as possible to save some money. Yeah.
I tell you what, though, I think that Oculus is going to get into Cavalier.
Possibly.
That's going to be his main aim, because that Oculus will want whoever's the most intelligent.
You say that, but when Cavalier said he wanted a conversation with something more intelligent than himself, I don't know if it's going to go into someone else so that he can he maybe gets to talk to it before it goes into him or something like that.
Or the Oculus might try and attempt to get into one of the hybrids. I don't know
how that would work, though.
Could it get into an android?
Well, they tried before. The lasso who got a brain wiped.
Exactly. So maybe it can. I think because it's so intelligent, it's got to pick its next. We've already seen it in a human. So it's either going to go for a really intelligent human or it's going to go for one of the hybrids, I reckon.
Do you not think that maybe the reason why it bashed the glass and trapped Tootles in there was maybe to see if it was actually a synthetic person?
Yep.
I can't help but think that that's what the Oculus was doing there.
Yeah. It's
No,
trying to just assess everything, isn't it?
Because otherwise it wouldn't have known, right? It would have thought he was human. So why did
Yeah.
it try it? You know, see what I'm saying? Like, it's almost like it must have worked out. You must be synthetic, but I'm going to test this theory.
Yeah.
You know, see what happens when you get stuck in there. You know,
and we're still not seeing the plant.
No, I know.
We don't know what that does, do we?
We're running out of episodes with that as well.
Yeah.
They're going to do something with it. They need to do it soon. I mean, this one was called Fly, so maybe the next one's going to be called Plant. I don't know. Maybe they call it Venus.
Venus, Venus
Yeah.
flytrap.
Little shop of
Maybe
horrors.
the plant is going to be the mother of them all, and that's just going to fuck everything up.
I just want to see it try and eat a xenomorph. That'd be funny.
Yeah, that'd be cool, wouldn't it?
Yeah. I didn't see what he fed it because he put something in there, didn't he, for it? But I didn't see what he gave it.
Do you want me to let you? This is the hunch I've got, yeah. And I keep forgetting his name, the blonde-haired android. What's his name?
Kirsch.
Kirsch. I keep forgetting his name. I think Kirsch, right, is going to be out of the main of that island, the only survivor.
Yeah, could be.
I think even Wendy. All of them, they're all going to die, right? Kirsch is not working for Wayland. He's working for another company. And that's how, when they do season 2, how it will then be involved with Wayland will still obviously be involved, but that will then go on to the other company. Because I still think there's 5 companies. They keep going on about the 5 companies. I still think they are involved. And I think Kirsch is that involved. I think Kirsch is working for one of the other 5, and it's not Wayland. He's going to survive. And everything's going to get destroyed pretty much, apart from a few choice of the aliens. I think the Oculus is going to survive.
Well, I'm just going to skip forward from Martin's comment here, but Chef said this. Now, this was something we had a chat about.
I hope so.
This was a thing we had a chat about on the podcast, right? Because I think that the reason Tyrell's not about is because obviously he died and another company's bought it, right?
Yeah.
And I reckon you're going to find out because they keep saying that Kirsch is an older model. I think Chef might be right. I reckon you might find out that he's a replicant.
They've already give that hint. They've already give the hint in the lift when he says, "I'll see you around, old toy."
Old toy, yeah.
Toy.
That's what I'm saying.
That's
what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. He says he's an old model, yeah.
An old toy. So that is already another massive Easter egg to that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It bolsters what I think, like what Chef's saying. That's what I think.
Maybe Kirsch's company is the old Tyrell.
Yeah.
I hope so. I would love to see Tyrell in there.
He's definitely not 100% loyal to Cavalier because he's hiding stuff from him. And I don't think it's to do with Wayland. I think it's to do with one of the other companies.
Is, don't forget, I mean, and this was another thing we was talking about on the podcast, right, is that Chef mentioned about the fact that obviously Dallas has got Tyrell written on his records, right?
Yeah.
But I said, like I said to Chef, though, maybe the reason he's got Tyrell on there is because Tyrell got bought out by Wayland. And that's why he's gone from Tyrell to Wayland, because they were bought by Wayland. Because it happens, doesn't it?
Chef's put their Nexus 5. What's that?
That's the model, isn't it, of the replicant?
Oh,
Nexus
yes,
5.
of course. Yeah. That's right. Yeah.
So this is a thing, right? It's still not out of the possibility that it could still be Wayland, because you see it with companies all the time. One company buys another and they take their staff over, don't they? And I think that could be how Dallas ended up from Tyrell over to.
Yeah, but I think ultimately Wayland will suck up all the other 4 companies.
Well, yeah, but don't forget, when Alien's only 2 years after this, so in theory, Dallas would be doing this probably about now or sooner. So
possibly, yeah.
You know, well, in fact, it would have been sooner because we know there's no Tyrell in this timeline. So yeah. I think it could already be part of Wayland's, but I don't know. We'll find out, won't we? I guess. Maybe we're just giving it too much credit. You know.
Yeah,
Model with a robot from Blade Runner, yeah.
I definitely think though he's working for one of the other 4 companies. He's not working for Wayland.
I don't think
Because
they all
how
have the
can
same
they?
hair color.
I still think they're planning this for the next season. It will be Wayland up against one of the other companies, and each season we're going to see one of the other companies. And this season is the downfall of Boy Cavalier. That will be the end of that by episode 8.
What's Chef saying here? They actually have the same hair color. They don't all have that, do they? Like in Blade Runner, they don't all have blonde hair.
No, it's only what's his name?
Rutger Hauer.
Rutger Hauer's character.
Well, Pris has blondish hair as well, doesn't
actually.
she?
Yeah.
Pris, yeah.
Yeah.
But you know, you've got at least one bloke who's got dark hair.
But that's my take on it. That's what I think's going to happen. Whether it does or not, I don't know.
I do think there's a very good, strong possibility that he is an Tyrell replicant. But in saying that, I mean, the thing is with replicants, are they actually? They're not really machines, are they? They're kind of like engineered humans with a life expectancy, like a short life expectancy, aren't they? Like a use by date.
Mm.
I don't think you ever actually you don't get told they're machines, do you? They're like, if I remember right, they're almost like a clone.
Yeah,
Aren't they? They're biological. They're not machine, are they? I don't think.
They're biological androids, aren't they?
Well, I don't think they are actually androids. That's what I'm saying. I think they're like almost like genetically engineered slaves. At least that's the impression you get.
Yeah.
And they do have a short life expectancy as well.
Yeah, like it's been encoded into their DNA. That's always the impression I got.
Was it candle burns twice as bright, burns half as long?
Yeah.
Yeah, but you see them make in Blade Runner. You see them make animals, don't you?
Yeah, snakes. Is it snakes?
Yeah, but do you notice the terminology they use? He says about how he says something about biology when he makes it. Because the same thing gets said about the eyeballs as well.
There you go, biologically engineered organic.
Yeah, there you go.
Humanoid. There you go.
Yeah,
that is what they are.
Yeah.
Well, so they are very different. They're not like a computer.
Well, that's my point. That means Kirsch wouldn't be one of them then, because they're saying he's a machine. So he can't be a replicant.
We don't know, do we? We'll find out.
Because the thing is, like I say, in Blade Runner, there's that conversation about the eyes, and he says, "I made your eyes," and you can clearly see that he's made biological eyes.
Yeah,
he says that he engineered them, like what's just been said.
Yeah, well, when they go in with a microscope and check, don't they, that you can see the maker.
Well, yeah, they've got a barcode on, but I suppose that's part of the engineering process, isn't it? I mean, I suppose it's like biologically 3D printing eyes or whatever, isn't it? You know, you put like a maker's code on it.
And he could have just been dissing him by calling him a robot.
Well, it's not just that. I mean, everybody refers to him as a machine or a robot. There's never anybody else that mentions anything else other than that.
Yeah, maybe.
I don't know. But anyway, I'm thinking we'll cut this short because I say cut this short. It's not short, is it? But you know what I mean. We'll
get to find out a bit more tomorrow, won't we? Because it's I'll be watching it tomorrow night.
That's right. Yeah. I mean, hopefully tomorrow's episode will be a bit better. I hope so. I can't take another 2 bad episodes. I really can't. These ones really did a number on me. Going back watching them again, it's like being tortured. Honestly,
I think because we've been doing these every.
You dislike them that much. I actually really enjoyed watching them twice. I literally 2 hours before the stream, I watched them both again, and I actually
don't forget, I'm writing notes as well, though. I mean, that's just as torturous because you got to keep knocking it back to catch what they're saying, and that makes it even worse thing because you might have seen a really shit scene like 5 times.
Just think this time, a week tomorrow is the last episode.
Yeah.
So it'd be maybe, I don't know if we can do it a little bit sooner after the last episode, like if we can possibly.
It kind of has to work out when I'm working and what my schedule is.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah,
I mean, like with this,
cool.
if you notice with this one, I did the closest day to me being off work. So that's what I'm going to try and do, obviously, with the next one. But it kind of depends when that is. So, but yeah,
We'll find out what you're working next week and see if we can squeeze it in, like at the arse end of the week,
yeah,
maybe,
we'll
or
work
something
it
like
out.
that. Yeah.
Right. Okay. Right. Like I said at the start of the stream, obviously, guys' channels are down below in the links. I would ask Paul if he's got anything coming up, but I reckon he'll probably say no. Is that right?
Nope.
Yeah. Scott, you got anything coming up?
Yeah, I'm working on a channel update video. It's all been filmed. I'm just putting the finishing touches to it.
Yeah.
Hopefully, if I finish work in time tomorrow, that will go up tomorrow night. I'm hoping.
Right. Okay.
So there'll be a channel update. Long overdue.
Yeah. At some point, I still need to do a pickups video. I mean, I was going to do it last week, but obviously, where I'm doing these, I thought, well, I don't want it interfering with one of these streams. So, I just fit it in where I can at some point. But yeah. Right. Okay. Let's get out of here then, shall we? Obviously, there's no outro because, I've said this before, StreamYard. So see you later, guys. We'll catch you on the next one, which should be in the next couple of weeks. Keep an eye on the channel.
Adios.
You'll see the date. See you
See
later.
you later. Bye.
See ya.